By now, you might already started using ChatGPT. But what if I told you that at the end of this video, you will be a ChatGPT Pro, supercharged with all you need to know to make ChatGPT do everything for you in a fraction of the time that you would spend otherwise. Welcome to our comprehensive ChatGPT tutorial, where we will dive into the basics followed by the different ChatGPT versions. Let's spend a couple of minutes doing a slightly detailed walkthrough of what to expect out of this tutorial. We will begin with the basics of ChatGPT, then delve into the world of generative AI, large language models, and how GPT fits into this existing, exciting landscape. We will also explore how ChatGPT works across devices. We will walk through its interface and diverse uses and applications. But that's not all. We will also discuss ChatGPT's limitations, ensuring you have a balanced understanding of this technology. Next, we will discuss the evolution of ChatGPT from version 3.5 to its latest versions 4 and 4.0 and guide you through using ChatGPT 4.0 for free. Additionally, we will explore the art of prompt engineering, a crucial skill for effectively using ChatGPT. We will explore how ChatGPT can be a coder's best friend, guiding you through building Python apps and websites using ChatGPT 4.0. We will also explore its applications in natural language processing, NLP. Additionally, you will learn how to use ChatGPT for Excel and Microsoft PowerPoint, enhancing your productivity and presentation skills. We will also focus on ChatGPT for digital marketing and finance, providing insights on leveraging AI for effective strategies. Finally, we will walk you through creating a custom GPT model in ChatGPT for those seeking a more personalized touch. So, why wait? Empower yourself with ChatGPT today. Imagine having a chat with an AI that feels like talking to a real person. That's what ChatGPT does. ChatGPT stands for Chat Generative Pre-trained Transformer, developed by OpenAI. It is an artificial intelligence model based on the technology called Transformer, which is particularly good at processing and generating human-like text. It's a version of what's known as language model because it can predict and generate sequences of words based on the input it receives. Now let's dive into some of the buzzwords you have likely heard about. Generative AI, large language model, that is LLMs, and GPT. These terms might sound complex, but they form the foundation of how ChatGPT works. In the next few segments, we will break down these concepts in an easy to understand way so you can grasp the magic of the technology behind ChatGPT. Let's get started. So, let's start with quickly understanding the evolution of computers. When the computers were created, they were created as calculating machines for mathematicians and bookkeepers. Then it evolved to understanding programming languages so that it can understand instructions, human instructions. But now it has evolved to incorporating human-like intelligence as well as creativity. Mimicking human-like intelligence is nothing but artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence combined with creativity is nothing but generative AI. So, let me make you understand with a very simple example what is generative AI. Transport yourself back to your childhood. you had a lot of toys to play with. You would keep that toys in one box. Now, also imagine that if you wanted some toy which is different, you would not get in the market. But what if I tell you that this box is a magical box? And if you input your understanding of what you want in your new toy with instructions, it can create a new toy for you, which is not available in the market. Now, this toy can be a bear with unicorn features and wings. What if it generates for you? This magical box generates a toy which is very unique for you. This magical box is nothing but generative AI. Generative AI actually is not a magic. It's a fast and rapidly evolving artificial intelligence system which creates, generates, transforms content that can be text, video, audio, image, etc. based on your input. So, if we want to understand it technically, generative AI or Gen AI functions by employing a neural network to analyze data patterns and generates new content based on those patterns. Neural networks are nothing but a mimicry or a replication of your biological neuron based on how it gets from brain, the activity from brain, and you do your work. It's nothing but a mimicry of that. Based on that mimicry, it analyzes data patterns and generates new content for you. Let's now quickly see what is the difference between discriminative and generative AI. Suppose you have a data set of different images of dogs, cats. You provide this as an input to your discriminative AI, which acts like a judge, and it classifies all this into set of images between cats and dogs. This is discriminative AI. It classifies. Now let's understand what is generative AI. You have the similar set of cats and dogs, but now your generative AI is acting like an artist. It creates a new species of dogs for you. That's why generative AI is nothing but AI system that transforms, creates, generates your own content based on your instructions like an artist. Now that you have understood what is discriminative AI and what is generative AI and what is the difference between the two, let's understand why is generative AI or Gen AI trending. Gen AI has impacted various fields, be it text, audio, video, any input, and those inputs in various domains like data, management, tech, healthcare, and entertainment. It has creative applications such as DALL-E, ChatGPT, where you can input what you want and get output from it. For example, if you want to create an image, what you think or perceive as a concept and you want it, you give a prompt for your generative AI model and it will create that image for you. So your input is a text, but your output is an image. That's why it's trending. It does not depend how traditional AI is dependent on what form of input you give. The same form would be your output. However, Gen AI works on your inputs, on your instructions. That's why it's trending. It is impacting a lot of fields, be it creative field, be it research field, be it business. Professionals are using tools like ChatGPT to create or generate code so that they can create something new. The researchers are actually developing new and new large language models based on which we can create new generative models and can do new and new tasks each and every day. That's why generative AI is evolving rapidly, and that's why is close to magic for everyone. Now that you have understood why it is trending, now let's understand how it works. We give an input to generative models. Gen AI works on generative models. We give an input. It can be text, audio, video, any format. Those generative models are then pre-trained on the data and they are fine-tuned to do the task that you want. It can be text summarization, it can be sentiment analysis, it can be image generation, it can be audio generation for your YouTube channel, or analyzing your customer feedback if you are a brand or a marketing firm. It can create codes, whatever you want. You give a prompt what you want, explaining it that what you want, and it fine-tunes and gives you that task for you. So this is how, in a nutshell, generative AI model works. So now let's see what are the different types of generative AI. First one is Generative Adversarial Network, GANs. It's a type of AI where two models, one generating the content and one judging it, work together to produce realistic new data. Second is Variational Autoencoders. This AI learns to recreate and generate new similar data. Third is Transformers. Transformers is an AI which learns to produce sequences using context. Fourth is Diffusion Model, which generates data by refining noisy starting until it looks realistic. Now that you have understood what are the different types of generative AI, let's quickly walk through different applications of generative AI. First one is content generation. It creates, it generates whatever textual or any code that you want. Customer support and engagement. If you are a brand firm, it helps you with that. Data analysis and data science. It helps with visualization. It helps with analyzing any data. Be it any data you want. You are a brand firm or you are a technology firm. It will help you analyze your data and create new automated tasks for you. Or it would create new perceptions for you to take over. Then it is code generation and software development. We have research and information retrieval as well, where it helps different researchers, it helps different professionals to grow and retrieve, extract information required from different or various data sources. Then we have machine translation. If you are a person who do not understand a language and you are watching something or reading something which is in different language, you can use generative models to translate text or audio or anything into the language that you require. Then we have sentiment analysis, which actually takes feedbacks or any text that you have to give you. Is it a positive, negative, or neutral sentiment? And so that you can analyze and take decisive decisions. Other domains here include healthcare, transport, everywhere it helps. Generative models, generative AI is helping each and every domain in their perspective, how they are applying this technology change in their domain. So let's now quickly conclude what we have learned in this video. We learned AI is a superset. We have a subset called machine learning, which trains your machines to do what you want. But the machines need your input. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning which incorporates neural networks which mimics your neurons so that it can imitate human intelligence. Then comes generative AI, which involves creativity, introduces creativity in artificial intelligence system. Then comes large language models. Large language models are basic bits that you will learn in our upcoming videos. So stay tuned. Just before we conclude, let me tell you different generative AI tools which are in the market and which you can explore. Some of it are ChatGPT by OpenAI, Claude by Anthropic AI, Copilot by GitHub, Gemini by Google. You can go and explore the world. However, stay tuned to our channel so that you can learn more about generative AI, large language models, prompt engineering, and several different buzzwords that are there in the system. What exactly is an LLM? Imagine you have a super smart friend who has read every book, article, and blog post in the world. This friend can chat with you about almost anything, help you with your homework, write stories, and even tell you jokes. That's pretty much what an LLM does. In technical terms, an LLM is a type of artificial intelligence that has been trained on vast amounts of data. It can understand and generate human-like text based on the pattern it has learned from all that reading. This is part of a broader field called generative AI, which focuses on creating content that resembles human output. Let's now break down the basics. Large language and model. Large just means that the model has been trained with a massive amount of data. We are talking about billions of words from books, websites, articles, and more. Model refers to a set of instructions or algorithms that helps the AI understand and generate language. Think of it like a recipe that guides how to make a cake. In this case, it is guiding the AI on how to create meaningful text. Let's talk about language. This is all about words, sentences, and how we communicate. When you text your friends, write an email, or post on social media, you are using language. So now that you understand what each word in LLM stands for, let's quickly see what is the technical definition. LLMs are language models made up of neural network with billions of parameters that are trained by self-supervised learning on vast amounts of unlabeled text. Now let's dive into how do LLMs work. Let's simplify this with an example. Imagine you type the sky is dash dash dash. The LLM might predict the next word to be blue because it has seen that phrase so many times during its training. Large language models like GPT-4 operate based on complex neural networks trained on vast amounts of text data. Here is a simplified explanation of how they work in two phases. The first phase is the training phase, followed by the inference phase. The training phase has 4 steps. Step 1, data collection. That is gathering diverse text data from various sources. Step 2, pre-processing, which means cleaning and tokenizing text data into numerical representations. Step 3, model architecture, which is nothing but designing the neural network structure, typically a transformer. Step 4, training is adjusting model parameters by predicting the next word in sentences. By this training phase, the LLMs are being trained on vast amount of data to do further predictions. Now, coming to the next phase, which is inference phase. It also has 4 steps. Step 1, input processing. That means tokenizing and converting the input text into embeddings. Step 2, generating output. Now using the model to predict and generate the next words. Step 3, sampling, which is selecting words from predicted probability distribution. Step 4, last but not the least, post-processing, which means converting generated tokens back to readable text. After the training phase, in the inference phase, the LLMs will recognize the pattern, sample content, and give predictions. Apart from these steps, there are 3 key concepts which we should know to demystify LLMs. First, attention mechanism. This allows the model to focus on relevant part of the input text, improving its understanding of context and meaning. Second, embeddings. which are numerical representation of words or tokens that capture their meaning and relationship. Third, transformers. Transformers are the architecture that uses self-attention to process input data in parallel, making it efficient and more powerful. Let's see some examples of LLMs in action. Example 1, chatting. Your prompt can be, what is the capital of Japan? LLM replies, the capital of Japan is Tokyo. LLM knows this because it has read a lot of information about countries and capitals. Let's see example 2 about writing. Your prompt can be, can you help me write a story? LLM says, sure. Once upon a time in a land far away, there was a brave knight who... The LLM can generate creative text based on what it has learned from reading stories. Example 3, let's see answering questions. Your prompt can be, explain photosynthesis in simple terms. LLM replies, photosynthesis is a process by which plants use sunlight to make food from carbon dioxide and water. It simplifies complex topics by using the patterns it has learned from educational content. There are different types of LLMs, each designed for specific task and application. Now let's explore these types. First are base models. They are trained on a wide range of data and can perform general language understanding and generation tasks. They aren't specialized for any particular type of instructions, but are versatile. For example, GPT-3, which is known for its versatility and ability to generate coherent and contextually relevant text. Another type is instruction-based models. They are fine-tuned to follow specific instructions better than base models. They can understand and execute tasks based on detailed prompts given by the user. For example, T5, that is text-to-text transfer transformer. It converts all NLP problems into a text-to-text format, making it highly versatile for tasks like translation, summarization, and question answering. Another example is Instruct GPT, which is tailored to follow specific user instructions better and provide more useful and safe responses. So, these were the types of LLMs. However, there are paid and open source LLMs as well in the market. Based on your usage and budget, you can explore them. Some paid LLMs are GPT-4, 4o, Microsoft Azure OpenAI services, etc. And open source are GPT Neo, BERT, etc. Let's see how are LLMs revolutionizing the world of AI. In education, they can help explain difficult concepts, answer questions, and even tutor students. In content creation, they assist writers, marketers, creators by generating ideas, drafting content, and editing. In coding, they assist professionals with generating code to their specific problems. In customer support, many companies use LLMs to power their chatbots, providing quick and accurate responses to their customer inquiries. Apart from all these fields, LLMs are being utilized in every field and domain. But it's not all smooth sailing. There are challenges too. Let's see one such challenge, which is bias. Since LLMs learn from human-written text, they can pick up and reproduce biases present in the data. Another one is misinformation. They can sometimes provide incorrect or misleading information, especially if the data they were trained on was flawed. However, keeping challenges aside, the future of LLMs is exciting. As they continue to improve, we can expect them to become even more accurate, reliable, and versatile. They will be better at understanding context, handling complex tasks, and even learning from smaller amounts of data. So, there you have it. Large language models, LLMs, are like super smart friends powered by tons of data and advanced algorithms. They can chat, write, and help us in countless ways. As they continue to evolve, they are set to become even more integral in our daily lives. First, let's break down GPT, Generative Pre-trained Transformer, in simple terms. Imagine teaching a friend to write stories. You would first give them tons of books to read, right? That's exactly what we do with GPT. We feed it a huge amount of text from books, articles, and websites. This is called pre-training. During pre-training, GPT learns the basics of language, that is grammar, sentence structure, and even some facts about the world. It's like the AI is soaking up all this knowledge. GPT is built using a special architecture called a transformer, specifically the decoder part of the transformer. This structure is really good at understanding the context of the words. For example, it knows the difference between apple, the fruit, and Apple, the company, based on the surrounding words. The transformer decoder has layers. Imagine a sandwich. Each layer processes information and passes it to the next layer, getting more refined with each step. This helps GPT understand and generate human-like text. Now, when you give GPT a prompt like "Once upon a time," it uses everything it learned to predict and generate the next part of the story, one word at a time. It's like a super smart autocomplete. You can use GPT for a lot of cool things: writing essays, coding help, creating content, and even chatting with virtual assistants. Thanks for staying with us throughout this video. I hope you understood what GPTs are and how they work. First, we'll show you how to access ChatGPT easily on both web and mobile. Next, we'll explore ChatGPT's interface, making sure you know all the tips and tricks to navigate smoothly. Then, discover the uses and applications of ChatGPT, from customer service to coding. This AI does it all. But it's not all perfect. We will also uncover the limitations of ChatGPT so you can use it wisely. Ready to dive in? Let's go. The easiest way to access ChatGPT is through OpenAI's official website. Here's how. Open your web browser and go to openai.com. Look for the products section and click on ChatGPT. You need to sign in or log in if you haven't already. Once you are in, you can start chatting with ChatGPT right away. It is that simple. You just type your questions or prompts into the chat box and ChatGPT will respond. If you prefer using your phone, no problem. Some platforms offer ChatGPT through mobile apps as well. For instance, go to your mobile app store and search for ChatGPT. Download and install the app by OpenAI. Open the app and log in with your OpenAI account. Start chatting directly from your phone anytime, anywhere. And if you are a developer, you can integrate ChatGPT in your own applications using the OpenAI API. Here's a quick overview how to do the same. Visit openai.com and go to the API section. Sign up for an API key. Follow the documentation to integrate ChatGPT into your application. Use the API to send prompts to ChatGPT and receive responses programmatically. This way, you can add AI-powered features to your apps, websites, or services. ChatGPT is also available through various third-party platforms. For example, Microsoft integrated ChatGPT into some of their products like Word and Excel as part of their AI features. Some chat applications or bots may use ChatGPT for enhanced interactions. Just check the specific platform's guidelines to access ChatGPT features. So, whether you are using a web browser, a mobile app, or integrating it into your own projects, accessing ChatGPT is straightforward and versatile. Start exploring and see how this powerful AI can assist you in your daily tasks. Now that you know how to access ChatGPT, let's dive into its interface and see how you can interact with it effectively. When you first open ChatGPT, you will see the main chat window. This is where all the magic happens. At the bottom, you have the input box where you type your messages or questions. Above that, you will see the responses from ChatGPT. It's a simple, clean layout designed to keep the focus on the conversation. On the left-hand side, you will find the navigation panel. And here, you can start a new chat by clicking on this. Will clear up the current conversation and start fresh. View your chat history, and this allows you to revisit previous conversations and continue from where you left off. Then, access settings, and in this setting menu, you can customize your experience such as changing the theme, light or dark mode, managing your account, and setting preferences for how ChatGPT responds. Select the version of ChatGPT you want to use from drop-down menu, allowing you to switch between different versions like ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4 or 4.0. Let's talk about the input features. The input box at the bottom has some handy tools. First, text input. Type your questions or prompts directly here. Second, submit button. Hit enter or click the paper plane icon to send your message. Some versions that support voice input. Yes, you heard that right. With certain versions, you can actually speak your questions instead of typing them. Imagine the convenience of having a conversation with ChatGPT just by using your voice. This feature is available in ChatGPT mobile app, making it easier than ever to interact with the AI on the go. We will be covering all the details about how you can make the most of this feature. So, stay tuned, and as we explore this and many other exciting functionalities of ChatGPT. These features make it easy to interact with ChatGPT in a way that suits your style. When ChatGPT responds, you will notice that the text is formatted for readability. Responses might include paragraphs for detailed answers, bullet points for lists and step-by-step instructions, code blocks for coding assistance, where the response includes snippet of code. This formatting helps you quickly grasp the information and use it effectively. Let's see some of these examples of how to interact with ChatGPT. You can start with simple questions like, what is the capital of France? Can you help me plan a workout routine? Write a short story about a brave knight. Or even more specific tasks like explain the theory of relativity in simple terms. Give me a recipe for chocolate chip cookies. Or help me debug this Python code. ChatGPT is incredibly flexible and can handle a wide range of queries. ChatGPT also offers some additional features such as, number 1, autocomplete suggestions. As you type, you might see suggestions to help complete your question. Second, contextual awareness. ChatGPT remembers the context of your conversation, making the interactions feel more natural and coherent over multiple exchanges. These features enhance your experience and make your interactions smoother and more intuitive. That's a quick tour of the ChatGPT interface. It's designed to be user-friendly and efficient, so you can get the most out of your AI-powered assistant. Dive in, explore the features, and see how ChatGPT can help you with your questions and tasks. Now that we have covered what ChatGPT is and how to access it, let's explore its wide range of uses and applications. ChatGPT isn't just a cool AI to chat with. It's a powerful tool that can assist in many areas of your life. First up, customer service. Companies are using ChatGPT to handle customer inquiries efficiently. Imagine a 24/7 support agent that can answer questions, resolve issues, and guide customers through troubleshooting steps, all without human intervention. This not only improves customer satisfaction, but also reduces the workload of human agents. Next, content creation. Whether you are a blogger, marketer, or student, ChatGPT can help you generate ideas, write articles, create social media posts, and even draft email. For instance, you can ask it to write a blog post outline on sustainable living, and it'll give you a structured outline to kickstart your writing process. Are you into programming? ChatGPT is a great coding assistant. It can help you with writing code, debugging errors, and understand complex algorithms. For example, you might ask, how do I create a Python function to sort a list? And ChatGPT will provide you a code snippet and explanation. It's like having a coding buddy available anytime. Students and educators, this one's for you. ChatGPT can assist with homework, explain complex topics, and even provide tutoring in various subjects. Need help understanding a tricky maths problem or writing a history essay? Just ask ChatGPT. Developers, you are not left out. ChatGPT can help you write and debug code, explain programming concepts, and even generate code snippets. It's like having a coding buddy available all the time, ready to help you overcome any coding challenge. ChatGPT can also act as your personal assistant. It can help you plan your day, set reminders, draft emails, and even provide recipes for dinner. Whether you need to organize your tasks or find a new hobby, ChatGPT has got you covered. Love creative writing? ChatGPT can help you brainstorm plot ideas, develop characters, and even write poetry. Whether you are working on a novel or enjoy writing as a hobby, ChatGPT can be a source of endless inspiration. Learning a new language? ChatGPT can assist you with translations, practice conversations, and grammar corrections. It's a great tool to improve your language skills through interactive practice. Looking to improve your health and wellness? ChatGPT can provide workout routines, meditation practices, and dietary advice. While it's not a substitute for professional medical advice, it can be a helpful companion on your wellness journey. Researchers and data analysts can use ChatGPT to integrate summaries, extract key information, and even analyze data trends. It can help you sift through large amounts of information quickly and efficiently. Finally, for entertainment, ChatGPT can tell you jokes, share interesting trivia, and even play text-based games. It's a fun way to relax and enjoy some downtime. From customer service to personal assistance, ChatGPT has a wide range of applications that can make your life easier and more productive. Explore its potential and see how it can benefit you in various aspects of your daily routine. While ChatGPT is an incredible tool with many uses, it's important to understand its limitations. Let's explore some of the key areas where ChatGPT may fall short. Firstly, accuracy and reliability. ChatGPT generates responses based on patterns in the data it was trained on, but it doesn't understand the world like a human does. This means it can sometimes provide incorrect or misleading information. Always double-check critical information from reliable sources. Next, context awareness. ChatGPT tries to maintain context within a conversation, but it can struggle with long or complex dialogues. It might forget what was said before in the conversation or not catch the subtle hints from previous chats. Another important limitation is bias. ChatGPT may unintentionally show biases because it learns from internet data. This includes cultural, social, and gender biases. It's crucial to use ChatGPT critically and be aware of potential biases in its responses. Ethical concerns also arise with ChatGPT. For instance, it can be used to generate misleading and harmful content. There are ongoing discussions about the responsible use of AI and ensuring that technologies like ChatGPT are used ethically. ChatGPT's performance heavily depends on the quality of the input it receives. Vague or poorly phrased questions can lead to equally vague or irrelevant answers. Clear, concise prompts yield the best results. So practice refining your questions for optimal interactions. Unlike humans, ChatGPT lacks common sense and emotional understanding. It can simulate empathy but doesn't truly understand emotions or have real-world experiences. This can make its responses feel unnatural or inappropriate in sensitive contexts. Remember, ChatGPT is purely a text-based AI. It cannot perform physical tasks or interact with the real world. It can provide guidance or instructions, but actual execution requires human intervention. Privacy and security are also critical considerations. Be cautious about sharing sensitive personal information with ChatGPT, as interactions may be stored and used to improve the model. Always prioritize your privacy and security. Finally, there's the risk of dependency. Relying too heavily on ChatGPT for answers can hinder your own critical thinking and problem solving. It's a great tool for assistance, but it's essential to use it as a complement to your own knowledge and abilities. We have covered the basics and practical uses, but now it's time to explore the different versions of ChatGPT and what makes each one special. First, we'll dive into ChatGPT 3.5. What sets it apart and why it is a favorite for many users. Then, we'll look at the advancements in ChatGPT 4. How does it improve on its predecessor and what new features does it bring to the table? Next, we'll unveil the powerhouse of ChatGPT, ChatGPT 4.0. Discover why it's considered the next big leap in AI technology. And the best part, we will show you how to use ChatGPT 4.0 for free. Yes, you heard that right. Get all the benefits without the cost. Stay tuned because you won't want to miss this deep dive into the evolution of ChatGPT.
Next, let's look at something that most people are interested in when it comes to ChatGPT: coding. ChatGPT is capable of creating codes from scratch for various use cases and also in various languages. Now, please remember that ChatGPT has the capability to code anything, even malicious software. So be very careful while you're using ChatGPT, because even though ChatGPT provided you with the answers, it would only do so on prompting. So you are ethically and legally required to use ChatGPT only for legitimate uses. Please do not use them for coding or creating malicious or hacking softwares. Anyways, going on to the actual point here, we can actually use ChatGPT for coding anything and everything in a particular limit or boundary. So ChatGPT is very good in those terms. For example, let us ask ChatGPT to create a code for something known as the Range Kutta algorithm. Now, this is actually a mathematical algorithm. Some of you might have heard about it. Some of you might not have heard about it. That's absolutely fine. And another thing I would like to actually tell you here is, as you can see, the spelling of algorithm was wrong. But ChatGPT understands that, interprets it appropriately, and gives you the exact answer that you want. Even as you can see, I have typed the name of the algorithm. There is a typo there. But ChatGPT understands that and again rectifies it. Now here, by default, ChatGPT starts coding in Python. But if you want, you could also give it a different prompt or a more delineated prompt stating that we want a code for this particular algorithm in, say, C++ or even C for that matter. So let us see. Here it has created the code in Python, and if we give this particular prompt, the code would start getting generated in C++. So not only does it code the algorithm, it also codes the algorithm in various languages as per our requirement. Not only this, we can also specify the kind of complexities that we want. Now, anyone who is in coding or into algorithms, you would know exactly what a complexity is. We've got time complexity, space complexity. So we can actually give those kinds of prompts also. So if I want the code to be generated in worst case time complexity, again, please don't mind the spellings because ChatGPT is actually going to correct that. So as you can see, implemented in ON, where N is the number of steps to take. This is actually the worst case time complexity. Not only is it explaining what the worst case time complexity is, it will also generate the code for the worst case time complexity. In a similar manner, you can also generate a code for best case time complexity. At the end of it, ChatGPT is able to generate a code. Not only that, it is able to generate the code based upon our specifications that we have provided in the prompt. So it takes those keywords very seriously and it implements those keywords within the code. Now, please remember, do not use this for homework because this is where you are actually supposed to use your capabilities. Yes, you can use this if you are trying to implement some very high level software wherein this plays a very small part. But remember, direct copy pasting of any type of code or text from ChatGPT onto wherever your application is not the solution. You do need to change something in order to avoid any kind of plagiarism or copyright infringement. So that's how we can use ChatGPT for coding. Now, this can be used in various places. This can be actually used in various industry use cases also, where we need to generate multiple modules that need to be collaborated or that need to be collated into one single module, and we don't have enough time. This would come in handy. Not only this, we could actually also convert a given set of code from one language to the other. So as you can see, I've written convert to Python. So what I'll do is I'll just write convert above code to Python. So whatever was in the above code, it would convert it to Python. So it was definition of X and Y. And then it goes on to the variables here that are in the method, and it will go on and print everything that is a part of this code within here. Now, as you can see, wherever it stops here, it's not stopping here. That is because we have not stopped generating till now. Here, since we had stopped generating, it stopped the generation of code. But the prompt that is there previously, that is where the information is taken from. So the above code, which is in C++ for the worst case scenario for the Range Kutta method, would actually be implemented completely in Python. So this is the worst case scenario code, but its implementation is in Python instead of C++. So this is how we can actually use ChatGPT for coding. Next, let's go into a little bit of a lighter topic about suggestions. So ChatGPT gives us various suggestions. You can have suggestions for holiday places. You can have suggestions for cheap holiday places. You can have suggestions for games for broke people. You could have all of these types of suggestions. So let's look at the first suggestion here. Suggestions for party games for birthday parties for 7 to 10-year-olds. Now, if I just print this, maybe it might not give me the answer that I want. So the keyword here would be suggestions for party games for birthday parties for 7 to 10-year-olds. Now, here, these are some of the party games that would be suitable for 7 to 10-year-olds as per the information that ChatGPT has. Obviously, if you do not feel that this is not appropriate, you can always disregard the suggestion given here. However, for the most part, these are appropriate suggestions, as you can see. So, musical chairs, spin the tail on the donkey, balloon pop, scavenger hunt, freeze dancing, Simon Says, all of these are pretty normal games that are a part of a 7 to 10-year-old's birthday party. But these suggestions would not be appropriate if it is a 22 to 25-year-old's birthday party. So if we try to look at what a birthday party should look like for someone who is, say, for example, 25 years old, the suggestions would be very different. So as you can see, the first suggestion itself is extremely different. Again, these are just suggestions. You are always free to include other games or exclude multiple games here, but these are the suggestions that ChatGPT provides us with, right? Now let's look at something a little bit more complex. What about if I want a suggestion for party games for college reunions? Now, if I want suggestions for these, then here the suggestions would be slightly different. A lot of these would be related to the college or related to things that I have done in college, something that could actually help all of the various people who have gathered there to rebond with each other. Again, here, this is a pretty straightforward suggestion. What if this particular suggestion was a little bit more complex? So, for example, if we are suggesting games for college reunions, but they have children with them. So here you can see the things that we're doing here are slightly different. The only thing is that now it would be kid friendly also. So here, as you can see, for the exact same suggestion of party games for college reunion, the list of things that you can do with kids and without kids are different. As a result, you can see that the suggestion also changes. Now, if you want to further filter out or further increase the kind of keywords that are a part of the prompts here, you can obviously do that. You could also have prompts wherein you are looking for suggestions of party games with college reunions at a very good hotel, or we could also have a suggestion for college games in an uptown hotel, or suggestions for the hotel itself. So here what we're doing is just having a little bit of fun with all of the various keywords that we use. So all of these types of suggestions can actually be implemented here, and it's up to you whether you want to take in these suggestions or not, but ChatGPT would give you a list of things that you can do to the best of its abilities. Next, let's look at how ChatGPT can help us with summarization. Now, as we know, summarization is the task where we actually take up all of the important bits of a particular large text and we quickly summarize and squeeze it into a few statements. Now, this summarization is very important, especially if you're trying to read through or if you're trying to understand multiple research papers while writing a research paper of your own, or while trying to research on a given topic. So many a times during research, summarization becomes extremely tedious. Even though it's tedious, it is still an important task during research. So what can we do, and how can ChatGPT help us in summarization? Suppose we have this kind of a blog wherein we have some technology that we are interested in, and this blog has information about that technology. Now, as a researcher, I've got say 15 to 20 blogs that I need to review in the next 30 minutes only. There is not enough time for me to read through even one blog and understand what the topics are. So what I can do is very simple. Copy the whole blog here. Now, since this blog is a part of the AWS blogs, I can actually use this here since these are freely available. So I've copied this particular blog, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my ChatGPT and simply say, summarize the following. And paste the text here. So literally the whole text that was a part of the blog has been pasted here with a suggestion to summarize it. Let's see what happens. ChatGPT very helpfully starts summarizing the whole text that we have pasted here. Now this text has a minimum of 1000 words given in it, and here ChatGPT summarizes it into, say for example, 100 or 120 words only. So it's easier for me to read through this and understand the gist of it rather than actually going through all of the content. Now, as you can see, this is not as short as I want. So what I can do is further summarize the above paragraph. And it will further summarize and further reduce the amount of information that is a part of the paragraph above. So now I've got say 5 to 6 sentence paragraph, which is easier to learn, easier to understand, easier to remember, and whatever takeaway is there is now in a much more concise manner than before. So ChatGPT helps us summarize a lot of the content, and this can be done for various kinds of things. Like if you've got a complete chapter you need to study and you want summarization of that, or if you want to have a complete abstract of whatever research you've already done. Now, please remember, if it is a research that you're doing and an abstract that you're writing for it, because yes, we can write abstracts too. One thing you need to remember is not to completely copy and paste ChatGPT, because as I've said earlier, there are copyright infringement connotations as well as plagiarisms involved here. So please make sure that you are actually paraphrasing anything and everything that you use from ChatGPT. ChatGPT can be used for suggestions, but they should not be used as it is to complete tasks that are required from you in your coursework. Now let's look at another way in which we can use ChatGPT for summarization. Suppose in my research, I want to point out that isima.io is something that I am not going to use for a particular set of reasons. Now, how do I actually summarize this here in a negative voice? So it's very simple. What I'll do is go back to my paragraph or go back to the source of the blog, copy this blog again, and paste the blog here. However, as you can see, my prompt has changed. Not only am I summarizing it, I am summarizing it in a negative voice. This means that I'm trying to pinpoint all of the limitations of using isima.io. Now, the reason for that is because it is a necessity in whatever research I am doing. I need some kind of negative feedback showing a reason why I would not be using this particular entity, or for whatever reason I wouldn't require a negative feedback. So as you can see, the summary given before and the summary given later would have differences in it. Further summarize with negative voice. And I've not written what it needs to summarize. So that is why ChatGPT would give me this particular answer. One is the summarization here with negative voice is something that it does not want to fulfill, because it strives to provide neutral and objective summaries without coloring the views of anyone, right? Without any bias or without any judgments. So here, this is an important thing to remember, that ChatGPT is different from InstructGPT, which was a predecessor of it. Here, ChatGPT actually tries to give as much as positive or neutral feedback as possible. So even if you ask it to summarize it further in the negative voice, it might give you answers like these. So this is how summarization can be done using ChatGPT. Next, let us look into keyword-based content generation. So if we give some keywords, can ChatGPT create content based upon the keywords? So let's say we've got some stories that we want to create. And let's say that the keywords that the stories have to be based upon is a house, cats maybe, and some rain. And let's say one more, catnip. Right? So these are the keywords based upon which I want the story to be generated. So as you can see, because of the prompt given, which is a story about house, cat, rain, and catnip, there is a complete story that is being written by ChatGPT that contains a house with a lovely garden in the front and a spacious backyard. It's got a cat called Whiskers, and Whiskers gets a gift of a fresh batch of catnips. So literally all of the keywords that we've given as a part of our prompt are all being used here as a part of the story. However, as you can see, the story goes on and on and on, and it is not something that I would like to, display or demonstrate here. So the story is here. If you want, you can create a longer story. This is a short story generated. So this is something we can do here. Now let's see if the same prompt can work with poetry. So if we've got a poetry generated using house, cat, rain, and catnip. So as you can see, a poetry can also be generated, right? So in a similar manner, using keywords, we could generate all of these things. Let's see if we can generate an ad script in the same manner. An advertising script, advert script, using all of these features like cat, house, rain, and catnip. Let us generate a response here. So yes, as you can see, even an advertising script can be generated. So there is a voiceover, there are cut tools, like everything that you would require in an advertising script can actually be demonstrated here using the keywords. And as you can see, there is a cat, obviously. There is a cozy house with a lovely garden. There is rain sounds and raindrops can be heard tapping and all of these. So literally all the keywords that you have given here, which is cat, house, rain, and catnip, will be inculcated into the script here, and the advertisement can be completely created as it is, right? So this is how we can actually create content or create scripts using the keywords that we want. Not only can we create scripts using keywords, we can also create stories, we can also create poetries, we can literally create any kind of content using the specific keywords that we require to be included or inculcated into our content. So now we looked at how ChatGPT can create content based upon keywords. Now let's look at whether ChatGPT can create keywords based upon the topics that we give to it. So suppose we want to create a Google ad, but we're not understanding exactly what keywords to use within those Google ads. So let's say this is the prompt. Generate a list of keywords for Google ads for fashion brand. And again, as you can see, there is a typo here. Let me correct that typo now because we have another typo, which is ads. Okay, so this is our prompt, keywords for Google ads for fashion brand. Let's see what type of keywords it can generate. So as you can see, here are some of the possible keywords for Google ads for a fashion brand. Now, it's not necessary that it would be a woman's fashion brand or a man's fashion brand or a kid's fashion brand. It's just a set of keywords which can be used for fashion brand. And a disclaimer is also put in here by ChatGPT that the choice of keywords may vary depending upon the target audience, the product that are being offered, and the goals for marketing that have been set. So please do your research. Right? Now, what if we want to bucket these? Now, what is bucketing? Bucketing is where we actually club all of these keywords together in order to understand exactly where or how these keywords can be used. So let's write a prompt here, which is more of a follow-up prompt. Bucket the categories or bucket the keywords under different categories as per their intent. So obviously ChatGPT knows that it has bucketed or it has created all of these above categories and it needs to bucket these categories based on those. So as you can see, there are categories like informational and research intent, there is navigational intent, there is transactional intent. So all of these intent-based categorizations are done here. Again, these categorizations are called out to be subjectives and these may vary. So we need to be very careful here. Right? Now let us see if using these buckets we can write an ad. So let's say we want to create a script for an ad using the informational bucket. Right? So how would the ad look? So see, discover the hottest fashion looks, fashion photography. So can you see here, we've got fashion trends, we've got fashion photography, we've got runway fashion, fashion styling, fashion tips. So literally all of those, the fashion trends that are there, the fashion photography that is there, fashion experts, fashion looks, all of these topics would actually be here, and the call to action on the Google ad would be visit our website now. So this is what we want you to do as a fashion brand. We want you to visit the website where these fashion brands are there. So all of these would actually be a part of our Google ad. Again, there is a disclaimer that it is designed to attract users who are interested in learning about the latest fashion trends. So those who are interested in the informational intent would come up here. So as you can see, based upon the informational bucket and the keywords in the informational bucket, we've got this particular ad created. In a similar manner, we can also use the transactional intent, wherein we are actually calling people to shop here, to do transactions here. And we can also have the navigational intent, where we are asking people to come in and to explore our brand and to explore our fashion boutique. In this particular manner, based upon the keywords, we can bucket them. We can also generate ads specific to these keywords, and we can continue to paraphrase these ads to be more relatable to the users, right? Or we can target them to, say, ladies, men, kids, young adults, teenagers. Based upon whatever our target audience is, we can actually target our ads, or we can filter our ads by giving the appropriate keywords there.
Did you know that ChatGPT Plus, that is ChatGPT 4 and 4o, costs around $20 per month? But what if I told you there are tricks to using ChatGPT Plus for free? So, without any further ado, let's get started. OpenAI recently introduced its powerful and up-to-date model, that is ChatGPT 4o, in April 2024, and ChatGPT 4 was introduced in 2023. This new model offers optimized performance in comparison to ChatGPT 4 with faster response times, improved accuracy, and enhanced features like emotion detection and real-time translation, making it a game changer in the AI world. Additionally, ChatGPT 4o supports seamless integration with plugins, provides personalized chat experiences, and includes advanced context understanding for more coherent conversations. The model also boasts improved multilingual capabilities, allowing it to handle a wider range of languages with greater proficiency. Let's check out the features on the official website of OpenAI. So, once you click on this link, you will be directed to the Hello GPT 4o OpenAI page, where you can actually explore the capabilities of GPT 4o. So here you have a default option that you can select. So let me actually try out the poster creation for the movie Detective. So here you have to give input as two separate images, where you can actually get the output as the poster for your movie. You can actually try out other options here as well. So 3D object synthesis. Here the input should be these, and you will be getting the output like this. Also, we can also find the test evaluation of the models that are used. So you have GPT-4o, GPT-4t, and few other open AIs as well. So this is your evaluation sheet. So you can go and check our great learning platform to learn more about the text evaluation as well. For more information on ChatGPT 4o, please check out our hero video on ChatGPT 4o versus 4 versus 3.5. Now that you are aware of ChatGPT 4o's impressive capabilities, let's explore the first method of accessing it for free. The first trick is to access ChatGPT 4o using Binge Chat. Microsoft Binge integrates the ChatGPT 4o model to deliver more accurate and insightful search results. By leveraging the power of GPT-4, Binge Chat can provide responses equivalent to the default ChatGPT 4 model, enhancing your search experience with better context and understanding. This integration means you can enjoy the benefits of ChatGPT 4o's advanced capabilities without any additional cost. Now let's see the demonstration of Microsoft Binge. Once you open the Binge on the Chrome, you will be directed to this page where you can create your account. I have created my own. You can click on Copilot to give your prompts. So let me start with first thing. So my first prompt is, I want to create an image of a girl holding balloons. So we'll see what Binge gives. So it is taking time. It is telling that I'll try to create that. Here you go. I got 4 images of a girl holding balloons. This is how Binge helped me creating image. Now let me ask Binge to create a code. I have given a prompt telling it to create a code in C for swapping 2 numbers. We'll see what it gives. Wow, that's awesome.
it gave me two different codes, wherein first code is using a temporary variable and the second code is without using a temporary variable. So here it gave me a C programming code to swap two numbers. This is how you can use Binge AI. This is how you can leverage Binge AI powered by the ChatGPT 4o model to get enhanced result for free. It's a powerful tool that brings you the best of AI without any cost. The second trick is to use the Merlin Chrome extension. Merlin is a handy tool that integrates seamlessly with your browser, offering advanced AI capabilities right at your fingertips. Utilizing the ChatGPT 4 model, Merlin delivers superior outputs equivalent to default ChatGPT 4, enhancing productivity and providing effortlessly high-quality results. Search for Merlin on Google and create your own account to get started. After setting up, you can input prompts tailored to your needs. However, make sure to select the GPT-4 option in the top right corner of the application to ensure you receive the best output. You can give the prompts as per your requirements and check if it gives us the better result. Once you go on Merlin on your Chrome, you will be directed to this page. Here on Merlin, you have to select the GPT-4o option. And you can start asking Merlin by giving your prompts. So let me give my first prompt as create a code. I'll give the same prompt, that is create a code in C for swapping two numbers and give enter. We'll see what it gives. Wow, Merlin gives a better result. So using a temporary variable, it gave me a code. And without using a temporary variable, it again gave me one more code. And method 3 also using bitwise XOR operation also. So this is how you can use Merlin to generate your prompts or results. To know more about how to give prompts on your ChatGPT 4o, you can go to our platform and check for the video on building a Python app using ChatGPT 4o. This is how you can use Merlin powered by GPT-4 model to get enhanced result for free. It's a powerful tool that brings you the best of AI without any cost. The third and last trick is using ChatGPT 4o on the ChatGPT Open AI. So here we will see how to use ChatGPT 4o for free on the default model, that is 3.5. So I'll give my prompt here on the default model, that is 3.5. So I will ask the ChatGPT to create a definition of what is software testing in software development. So the default model is giving us the result. So it is telling what software testing is and the key objectives of software testing and different types of software testing, and the levels also is given. And we also got some common techniques in software testing. So this is the result of the default model. Now, below the result, we have an option of changing the model to 4o. If I click on the change model, we'll see what we get, right? So as you see, ChatGPT 4o model is generating the better result when compared to our default model. It is telling the types in detail. What is manual testing? What is automation testing? What are the techniques that are used? And the stages in techniques. It is giving everything in a better format. Right? So this is how you can use ChatGPT 4o model for free. You don't have to spend a lot to enjoy the amazing features of ChatGPT 4o. By using BinChat, the Merlin Chrome extension, and even the default ChatGPT platform, you can access ChatGPT 4 for free. These tricks allow you to benefit from faster responses, better accuracy, emotion detection, real-time translation, and more. Give these methods a try and see how ChatGPT 4o can enhance your experience without costing you a penny.
Now let us understand what is GitHub, because I'm going to talk about GitHub Copilot. So you should understand first GitHub. Many of you would be familiar with what is GitHub, might be using it also on day-to-day basis. whoever is are developers or are software coders, they might be using it for sure. But again, you need to understand exactly what GitHub is to understand GitHub Copilot. Before understanding GitHub, you need to understand what is Git. Because, GitHub is based on the foundation of Git concepts. So Git stands for Global Information Tracker. So Git was initially developed to do version control system, and it's a distributed architecture. Version control system meaning, suppose you have developed a software or a project. Now, that was the initial version. Now you did some updation, some functionalities were added or maybe removed, and the next version of the software is created. So somewhere the older version should also be stored, right? Should be worked upon, and then the newer version should be installed. So how or where you can do all these? Git provides that platform. Okay, so it's a distributed version control system where you can keep your code, that is, you can store your code, you can manage it, you can modify it, update it, and release the newer version of it. Initially, Git was created by Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux operating system kernel as well, and this was founded in 2005. Now, I'll talk about some functionalities of Git. These functionalities are also carried forward to the GitHub concepts. That's why it's important to understand this here as well. So Git has a distributed architecture. It means what? So there is an architecture where, it's called centralized architecture, where suppose you've written a software code and it is stored at one place, you are able to access it on day-to-day basis. But distributed architecture meaning it is stored at a place, but every developer's machine or a laptop is able to access it or keep a copy of it on their own laptop as well. Okay, so that's your distributed architecture provided by Git. Second, it helps you run a parallel version. Now, suppose that 2-3 developers are working on the same piece of code, or same software or project, and they're using Git to store that software or a project. All 3 developers can run or do the modification of that code in their local machine and keep on doing the updations parallelly. So the same code will have 3 different versions on 3 different developers' computer. Parallelly, it is maintaining all these versions so that the 3 developers can work independently on their machine for the same piece of code. Next, it maintains history. So all the metadata related to, modification or updation of a code, like who updated the code, what was the changes done, when was it done, all these metadata is also being maintained on Git platform. That's what it is, that maintains history. Next is collaboration and conflict resolution. So how is this, doing conflict resolution? So same piece of code, as I said in an example, that 3 developers are, accessing it and updating it, right? Now, suppose all 3 did the modification in the exact same piece of code. Which code will be stored back, in the original copy? How to resolve this conflict is also handled by Git. There are different logics behind which is used to take care of all these conflict resolution things. Next, coming to performance-wise, Git is fast and secure. I said fast because, it provides, person to access it on their own machine, and that's how, it is faster. And Git is faster because it can handle even large code base. Even if your code file is very large, you can efficiently handle it. And it's also secure. It's open source means it is freely available. So not just, GitHub is Git is freely accessible, but also you can access the code or manage your project freely. There is no subscription charges as such. Then integration. Git can be integrated with various IDEs. It can be integrated with various online platforms like GitHub. So here GitHub comes in picture. So GitHub is an online platform, or I can say a web-based platform for Git. So all these functionalities which I just now listed down for Git is applicable to GitHub as well. And apart from this, GitHub offers some more functionalities, some more features, as it is a web-based platform and it provides version control for various systems. Now, coming to what is GitHub Copilot. So you want an idea what is Git, what is GitHub? Talking about GitHub Copilot now. So as GitHub, a web-based, version control system, which was already allowing you to store your projects, your software codes, basically, and access them also freely. So associating, Copilot with GitHub would have been beneficial because a lot of training data is freely available. When I say freely, it is open source. It is freely available to train the model. So as I said, GitHub Copilot is a AI developer tool. So it is an artificial intelligence based developer tool. So the programmers, the software coders, or the developers are going to use this GitHub Copilot to write down a code to create a software. It is based on generative AI model, which I spoke about, and it is developed by GitHub, OpenAI, and Microsoft. As I said, initially it was founded by GitHub and OpenAI, but as Microsoft is one of the investors here, the name is associated in the founders. Okay. Talking about some of the features of GitHub Copilot, the first one is it provides sharp and intelligent code suggestion. Meaning, when you use GitHub Copilot, the moment you start writing code, it will help you to, suggest you the next line of code or the next few words of that code. For example, suppose you're writing a for loop. Okay. So for loop, if you write just the for keyword, it will automatically give you the brackets, the what has to be written inside that bracket, those curly brackets and everything. Now this example, I've taken it from Java. If it is a Python code, it will suggest you accordingly. Or it is any programming language code, it will suggest you accordingly. Okay. Next feature is it auto completes the code. Now, why the software developers are loving this GitHub Copilot? Because for talking about, Java programming language, like I am a Java programmer. So when it comes to Java programming, there are so many, syntaxes which has to be keep in mind. That is semicolons, the curly brackets, the round brackets. So where curly brackets will be there, where round brackets will be there. Should I put a semicolon at the end of for loop or should I put it after curly brackets? There is no semicolon required. So these kind of lot of small things are there which has to be kept in mind. I'm very sure that other programming languages are also having these kind of syntaxes which has to be learned. But if you're using GitHub Copilot, you need not learn those or you need not Google every time after writing a single piece of code. Because GitHub Copilot will automatically complete your code with the right syntax of the same programming language in which you are developing your software or writing a program. It codes faster. Now, why does it code faster? Because as I said, if you're writing just the first few words of the program or first few keywords of the programming language, it is going to suggest you what should be the next few lines. And you just have to press tab or enter and it will write down the code in a fraction of a second. So that's the reason it codes faster. So it understands all the file types. If you have created a file, you're using GitHub Copilot there, and you've created a file with .py extension, it understands that it's a Python code file. If you have created it with .java extension, it will understand that it is a Java code file. Right? Similarly for other programming languages, and it will suggest you the code or the next few lines of your program on the basis of the programming language or the file type which you have stored that file of. Okay, so that's the feature that it understands file type. Next, cloud code understanding. So not just the basic programming concepts, it also has concepts of cloud. Suppose you're writing or developing a software that uses a cloud platforms, that may be using any cloud-based platforms. It will suggest you, according to that, the next lines of code. Okay. It also has database understanding. May it be any database, MySQL, Oracle, SQL, PostgreSQL, or MongoDB. Depending upon which database you're using, it will suggest you, or I can say it will help you write the query in that particular database programming language. IDE integrations. It can be integrated with lot of IDEs, integrated development environments. Lastly, but not the least, it gives you the best suggestion. As this, GitHub Copilot is based on AI, generative model, and this model is trained on lot of freely available codes, that is open source available codes, and hence it provides you the best suggestion possible for that particular piece of code which you are trying to write or a program which you are trying to write. There are disadvantages to it as well. About that I'll talk in a little bit of time, but this is all about the features of GitHub Copilot. So what all you can do with the help of this. Okay, you will get a more clear understanding of this once we'll see the demo or a hands-on session, that how exactly is, it is auto-completing the code which you're trying to write, or how is it understanding even what is there in your thoughts? So let me be very clear here that it will not read your thoughts, what's going on in your mind, but yeah, what you're trying to write from the keywords which you have already written on the GitHub Copilot platform, it will help you to write the complete software. Now let us talk about what are the languages and IDEs that are supported by GitHub Copilot. Before getting started with hands-on sessions of GitHub Copilot, you need to know what programming languages you can use on GitHub Copilot. So the list is infinite, although not limited to this. Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, Java, C#, C++, Go, Ruby, PHP, and many others. As I said, the list is not limited to just these programming languages. Some might be added more, or it can add in the future. Initially, the language on which GitHub Copilot was developed and the first test was done was JavaScript. So later on, you will see that with JavaScript programming language, you can utilize all the features of GitHub Copilot. When I say all the features of GitHub Copilot, meaning different versions are there or different subparts are there for GitHub Copilot tool, which you can fully utilize when it comes to JavaScript programming language. But yeah, other languages are also supported. So this is the list which you can go through, and depending upon the programming language you want to work upon, you can choose GitHub Copilot. Talking about the IDEs supported by GitHub Copilot. So from the official announcement on the GitHub Copilot website, basically, you can see that it mentions that GitHub Copilot integrates directly into your editor, including NeoVim, JetBrains IDE, Visual Studio Code. Right? So these are the 4 IDEs, integrated development environments, on which you can use GitHub Copilot. I will be using Visual Studio Code to demonstrate you the codes and also the SQL queries. But why I have selected this? So there is no such strong reason. But yeah, initially when the GitHub Copilot was developed, it was tested and developed on Visual Studio Code. And as the first always gains a preference. So that's the reason I'm using Visual Studio Code. And also as this, GitHub Copilot was developed using this tool initially, it will be fully fledged supported or seamlessly supported by Visual Studio Code. And that's the reason I'll be using Visual Studio Code going further for demonstrating the hands-on session. Let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages as well. I have spoken a lot about advantages, right? Like, it helps you to develop and write faster code, because you don't have to, now keep remembering the small syntaxes or small keywords of the programming language. GitHub Copilot can suggest you what should be the next keyword here, or what is the advanced syntax which you are missing here. Why is your code even giving an error? That also can be pointed out by GitHub Copilot. So using all these features, you are able to write the code really quick, right? Even if suppose in the comment, just as a comment of any programming language, you write what application you're trying to develop, it will give you a basic code or basic idea. Suppose you want to write a program for linear search. You just write in a comment, program of a linear search. And within a fraction of seconds, it is going to demonstrate you or give you the code snippet for a linear search, right? If you want to develop a GUI, you want to create a graphical user interface with suppose 2 text boxes, 2 buttons, 2 labels, right? Just write down this as a comment. It will give you the basic, or I can say it will give you the complete code of what GUI you want to develop. That might need some customization depending upon what exactly the GUI you want to look like. But yeah, it will help you to write down the basic at least, right? But there's a disadvantage to this as well. As I said, first thing is that GitHub Copilot is not going to read your mind. It's not inside your brains. So definitely you have to give a proper prompt. You have to properly write down the comment what you exactly want GitHub Copilot to help you with, right? And as it is trained on the freely available programs, it might give you incorrect results sometimes, right? Suppose I said, I want to write a program for searching an element in an array, okay? And to search an element in an array, GitHub Copilot has suggested you a logic which is somewhat like linear search, but you wanted to write binary search. So right, there is an ambiguity here, correct? Suppose you wanted to create a GUI, as I gave an example right now, and there you want 2 text boxes and 2 buttons. It provided you the text box, but it didn't provide you the label, right? So text box should be associated with the label. What exactly has to be entered into the text box is provided as a label, right? So these kind of incorrect results might be produced by GitHub Copilot. So it's not exactly incorrect, but it's incorrect when it comes to the reference of what exactly you wanted to write code with or code for, right? So you have to be a little bit of intelligent programmer in software. So you need to have a understanding or a knowledge of the software programming language to just check and review that whatever code suggestions are given by GitHub Copilot, is it right or wrong? So that's the smaller disadvantage. But yeah, as I said, if you have knowledge of it, you might not be affected with this disadvantage and convert this disadvantage to your advantage. Now let us see some hands-on session for the different aspects of GitHub Copilot, starting from the installation to running program related to Java programming language and also executing MySQL queries. We'll see everything. So let's get started with how to install GitHub Copilot. And in the process, I'll also tell you how to, integrate it with Visual Studio Code. So just go on Google and there you can write GitHub Copilot. Okay. And once you press enter, the very first link, if you see here, GitHub Copilot, your AI pair programmer, you have to click on this. Okay. And then the link opens up. This is the link here, right? Now, you can see all the details about, GitHub Copilot is over here. You can see here the .ts file, how the GitHub Copilot is helping. A small, GIF is here, wherein as a comment, the developer writes that determine whether the sentiment of text is positive, use a web service, and it automatically generates this code within a fraction of a second. Similarly, you can see with the Go programming language or Python or Ruby or whatever programming language you're comfortable in working or you want to develop a software, the same thing applies. Coming to the different plans which are available from GitHub Copilot. So one is that you can use a 1 month free trial. So to give it a try, you can go with a free trial, and that's what I'm going to do it right now here. So you can click here, start a free trial, and it will give you a 1 month free trial, which you can utilize. Or there are 2 different plans. One is for individual, one is for business. So depending upon your account, your GitHub account, if it is an individual account or it's for corporate account, you can, leverage this benefits. So for individual, this is the plan per month or this much is per year. For business, similarly, the other plans are there. You can go with buying it. Trust me, guys, you're not going to, disappoint if you are taking these plans for individual and trying to use it. I'll show you also how, it is helping in writing a software. Then maybe you can get a clear idea that I should go with the plan or not. Similarly, you can see or go through this complete page. It also tells you here down the lane that, how it is helping the developers in the entire world. The research has found GitHub Copilot help developers code faster, focus on solving bigger problems, stay in the flow longer, and feel more fulfilled with their work. So this is some data, research data, which has been put up over here. And similarly, down you can see somewhere it is also mentioned which all, So you can see it writes the program for if you want to draw a scatter plot in JavaScript. This is how quick it is writing down. So you can see just with a blink of an eye, it has written the complete code. You can go with Python and how to drawing a scatter plot in Python just within seconds. Similarly, you can go for, other program related to memoization, or you can fetch tweets, writing the program for fetching the tweets can be written within fraction of seconds. Right. So this is, example how Copilot is helping you write code better. Now coming to how to install it. So as I said, you have to click on GitHub Copilot link. That is the very first link when you type GitHub Copilot in Google. And here you can click on start a free trial. So if you click on this, it will take you to the login page of GitHub. So you can see here that it is already logged in. So my account, this is Pragya Prudent here. If you are not logged in, or for the first time you're using it, maybe you have logged out, it will ask you to log in. Else, you can, if I go back to that page, as I said, if you click here, or you can just, before itself, you can sign in from here. So as I've already signed in, it's showing my, profile icon here. But if you have not, it will it will show you the option to sign in or sign up. Okay. So I'll go back again there, clicking on a start a free trial. And as I have not yet taken any plan, or I'm not using the account which has plan associated. So this is the free version which I'm using right now to demonstrate you. And in this, if you can go here and see, there's option of billing. Yeah, here, billing and plan. So if you go on this, plans and uses. So you can see right now it is saying it's due by September 8 because recently I've taken the free trial version. If you want to buy it right now itself, you can go here and do the upgradation. And you can see what benefits are there and what is not included. So these many things are supported right now in my GitHub Copilot, account. So you can see GitHub Copilot, it is there with the GitHub. Now, how to link it with Visual Studio Code? So I'm going to use an IDE, Visual Studio Code. You can use all the other IDEs also, which I have mentioned to you, which GitHub Copilot supports. And the reason I'm using GitHub Copilot with Visual Studio Code is that because that was the platform and IDE on which GitHub Copilot concept was initially developed. So for that, you should either have Visual Studio installed in your laptop or system. If not, then again, you can take help of Google and you can just directly type here Visual Studio Code and the very first link here. You can click on this. It will take you to the page of Visual Code Studio. You can go to this download option here and it will show you the option. If you are using Windows, Mac, depending upon your Ubuntu or whatever, Red Hat, whatever is your operating system, you can download it from here. So if you click on Windows here, it will download. You see, thanks for downloading Visual Studio Code for Windows. Actually, I have already downloaded and installed the IDE, so I need not install it again, but guys, it's very simple. So you can, once it downloads, so it's still downloading. So once it downloads, you have to just click on it, click on I accept the terms and services, and just clicking on next, it is going to install it, right? So it will take maybe 2 to 3 minutes hardly to install once it gets downloaded. Now, point is how to connect Visual Studio Code with GitHub Copilot. So let me show you that. As I said, I have already installed Visual Studio Code. So here is the terminal for it. So once you install it and open Visual Studio Code, you will see like this, something of this kind of a screen will come in front of you. So I have also created a project folder here and a file. That's the reason it's showing it. But if you have not and you have opened VS Code for the first time, these options won't be here. You have to create a folder and a file separately later on. Okay. So you can actually go from here, create a new file, or you can open some folder and then inside that you can create a file. So these options are here, which you can do. But before that, how to integrate now GitHub Copilot with VS Code? So for that, you have to go to this extensions option. Okay, that's also the marketplace. So here you have to search the extensions in the marketplace. So I'll just write GitHub Copilot. Okay. Now again, GitHub Copilot has various versions. Okay. So GitHub Copilot Labs, GitHub Copilot Night, different versions are there, which has different features. And also some are used for different activities, different kinds of, activities related to software development. Depending upon your use, you can, but here I'm going to just show you the very first basic version of it, that is GitHub Copilot. So once you write there, the very first option which you see with a tiny bear kind of an icon, you can click on this. So once you click here, like as I have already installed it for a faster demonstration here, but if you have not, in place of this uninstall, it will ask you to install. So just have to click that install, option. These reload require disable option would be there. There will be only one option given to you here, install. Okay, for the first time if you have not installed. Click on that. It will install here itself with a fraction of a second. It won't take you to any other page or anywhere. It will just simply install. And then it is going to pop up asking to authorize VS Code by GitHub to use GitHub Copilot. Right? So authorization from GitHub is required. So if it doesn't automatically pops up, then in the notification center, you can click here and definitely here there will be a notification saying kindly authorize GitHub Copilot to be used in VS Code. Okay, so you have to just click on that notification. It will take you back to your GitHub account, and it will ask you here to, it will pop up message here saying that editor VS Code is trying to access GitHub account. So you have to allow it and authorize it. So you have to click on authorize button, and that's it. It will link there. And once the link is completed, here you can see this small icon here. So this is the icon for Copilot. Okay, GitHub Copilot. So once this is active here, if it is not installed properly, it's not active, then there will be this icon with a cut mark over it, like a slash on top of this bear icon. It means it's inactive right now. If you want to inactivate or deactivate, you don't want to use it right now, you can click on this, and then you can click on disable globally. So disable globally is for disabling it for all the programming languages which you are using on this VS Code. If I am using some programming language, suppose Java, then it will ask you that want to disable for only Java. Okay, so depending, if you want to disable it for some time or you are finding it irritating, you can disable it as well, but good to use it. Fine. So this is done. So you have to just close it. And if you are using, if you have to run Java codes here, so VS Code supports Java programs, right? So you just have to install the JDK in your machine. So make sure that JDK is installed. If not, you can again install the JDK or the extension for Java from here and install it in the same way how I explained you for GitHub Copilot. So you are able to run Java programs also properly. Now, coming to already I have, okay, so once you have installed Java, you have installed the plugin of GitHub Copilot, you can go ahead with creating a folder here, or you can open a folder if you've already created or it's there in your system. And then in this, you can create a new file. I can give it a name. Suppose, first program.java. Okay, so just click enter. You can select the folder. So it's already selected. VS Code folder is there, and Java project folder I have already created. So you can just create the file. So it created, the file firstprogram.java, right? So you can see J here. So it's a Java file, right? So that was all about your installing GitHub Copilot, installing VS Code, integrating GitHub Copilot with VS Code.
Now we have installed GitHub Copilot, we have installed VS Code and integrated GitHub Copilot with Visual Studio Code. Now time to start writing program. So the programming language which I'll be using here is Java programming language. Let me demonstrate you how to write on a program quickly using GitHub Copilot. Okay, so we have created a file here, firstprogram.java. If you want to create a new file, you can go here, click on new file, and then give the extension which you want to. Here I am using Java programming, so I have given .java extension. It will ask you to select the folder, select the particular folder where you want to create this file, and then just hit enter. It will create the file. Okay, so firstprogram.java is the file which I have created. Now, you can see here my GitHub Copilot is active, right? So it's asking to deactivate, it means it is activated. To use this, if suppose I'm going to write a hello world program, right? To check how, GitHub Copilot is helping you. So you have just written a class here, right? And it will automatically give me the suggestion that I want to write a hello world program, because for the first time without any input, whenever you start programming, the very first thing you learn is writing a hello world program, right? How to, print hello world keyword. So this is what it is going to give me. So I've written class, and then I'll just write, half of this first. It is automatically, you can see, showing me the suggestion for the code, and it's completing the line that after first I should write program, as this is the class name. And then all the syntax, public static void, main string, args, and system.out.println, hello world, everything is being demonstrated here, right? So you can see here, right? It is giving me the suggestion for the entire hello world program. So I just have to click, or I have to just press tab, and it will come to the end of the suggestion, okay? And just program for printing hello world is complete. So you can see how quick it was. Right? Now, if I want to print something else here, I can print something else, maybe good morning, okay?
And if I execute this by clicking on this icon, so you can see that the program ran successfully, executed successfully, and good morning, here is the output, right? Now, I don't want to, write this hello world program. Going to the next level, suppose I want to write here a program for maybe printing a pattern. Okay, so there are different pattern programs which are frequently asked in interviews as well, right? So suppose I want to write a program, I'll just comment it out. You can write it without comments also, doesn't make a difference. Just that you have to delete the line after the code is written, right? Otherwise it will give you an error. So I'm going to see an example. So in the comment, you're just going to write program to search an element, okay, in an array. Hit enter. So you can see it's showing me what should be my next line of code. You have to press tab and then enter. Now the next line suggestion will also be given. So you can see not just the next line, it has given me the entire code which should be there for a program to search an element in an array. So you can see it's asking enter the number of elements in the array first. So it's creating the elements as well. Then it's asking to enter the elements of the array. And then you have to enter the elements to be searched. So which element you want to search, you have to enter, and then it's found. And once found, it is going to print the position, else it will print a message element not found, right? So let me execute and see. So this program is for a linear search, right? Let me execute it. Enter the number of elements in the array. So suppose 5 elements are there. Now Now the element to be searched, if I write, suppose 90. So you can see the element found at position 5, because these are the numbers which I have entered. 23, 54, 67, 89, 90. So 90 was the last one, position 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 90 was the position of the element. So it's correct, right? Now what logic it is using is a different thing. As I have not mentioned any logic to be written here, I just want to search an element in an array. So it's using just a linear search. But if I want a specific, logic to be used, like I want a binary search here, I can delete this and then I can rewrite the comment and it will again give me the suggestions, and you just have to hit tab and enter and it is going to accept that suggestion, right? So you can see here, now it is using binary search. So binary search is that we find the middle element, and middle element is first plus last by 2, and then we start searching from first till the last element, but always comparing with the middle element, right? If it is smaller, then we go with the all the elements smaller to the middle element. If it is larger than the middle element, we go to the other half of the array. So this is the binary search, and see, correct output is given, or correct code suggestion is given by GitHub Copilot. So that quick it was, right? Now I'll show you a program here to, create a GUI with 2 text boxes, or we can create a login form GUI with 2 text boxes and a button. And I have to just delete all these. See, it is also giving me a suggestion for the comment, like, do you want to add some functionality to what you want to write, right? So you can see how intelligent suggestions are there. When the user clicks the button, the program should check the username and password. You want this also to be added? Okay, let's add it. If not, you can just leave it as well. So now it is asking that, when the, program should be logged in, it's login successful. So if you want something, if the username is this, if I don't want, username to be admin, I want username to be admin1, okay? And I don't want password to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, I want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can change it as well, right? And then we are going to just press enter. Okay, otherwise the program should, now it will start writing the program. I didn't want that particular comment to be accepted, so I just pressed enter. So it is now showing me that I should, import all these necessary packages needed to create a GUI form, right? So once done, Yes, you can see here that if I pressed enter, it again showed me the entire code which should be there. If I press enter, tab and enter, I have just accepted a suggestion, but you can make sure that it's correct or not. So you can see it is extending the JFrame and implementing the interface, that is action listener. It is creating a text field, 2 labels, 1 password field and 2 buttons. Okay, 1 login and 1 exit button. Initializing all these in the constructor for the class. So all these initialization is done. It's created JPanel. Now all these text boxes and buttons and password field has to be added to the panel. So it's adding to the panel here, panel.add. Then you have to implement action listener on these 2 buttons because it's going to perform some action. So you can just check that the code is actually correct, and here is what action is performed, that if the button which login button is clicked and the username is this, password is this, so it is fetching the text from here. And if it is equal to admin1, so you see here in the commit I've changed that I don't want admin, I want admin1. So even if you make certain changes according to what you want to write a program, it will take that as an input. And password I wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it should say that login successful, else login failed. Let's run this code and see. So yes, you can see here, as there is no length, breadth and width defined for these buttons and text boxes, it's showing me like this. But you can add some piece of code if you want here. For that also the suggestions will be provided. So username, if I write admin only and I write password as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and I write login, it is going to say login failed because of the username should be admin1. Now if I log in, it says login successful. So you can see how easily you have created a login page, a GUI, right, within a fraction of seconds. So this was all the help, you can see a programming example which can be provided or helped with by GitHub Copilot. Okay, now I'll show you a small, not just these basic programs, but also the concepts of the core programming language of Java, that is your multi-threading concept. Suppose I want to create a class, okay, which a thread class basically. So class first program which extends thread. So you can see it is giving me the suggestion, and if I press tab, I've accepted it. So you can see the basic layout is ready. There should be a run method. There should be, the start should be called on the object of that class. So the basic layout of multi-threading is ready. Now, if I want to do some certain changes here, I can write my own, functionality here inside the run method, right? Depending upon what I want, and I can similarly call this run method from here. If you want to add one more run method or override run method, and just learn or see the concepts of overriding with run, you can do that as well. So you can see here it has written one more run method for me, right? So not just the, GitHub Copilot is helpful for those who are just writing a program, who have learned the programming, but also for them who are learning it. Like you can see here, the very basic concept of threading, multi-threading can be learned in Java using GitHub Copilot. So that was all about Java programming. How is it helping for the developers to develop the program in Java? Now let us see how we can use GitHub Copilot with MySQL in Visual Studio Code. So just now we saw a Java program, right? Now moving ahead to MySQL. So what we should do here is that you have to first install the plugin related to MySQL in your VS Code, and that you can do in a very few simple steps. That you can just go to the marketplace, installing extension position, and here in the search you can write MySQL. Okay, and here the second one, this if you see here this this database icon, you have to click on this and install it. As I have already installed, again it's showing me uninstall option. Otherwise it will show you install option here. Just click on it. It will install you without asking you any accept, reject or next option. It will simply install here. So MySQL, once it is installed, so these icons if you see are on the left side, database, NoSQL, these will not be until you have installed MySQL. So once you have installed, these icons will be visible to you. So if you click on these icons which is visible here, so if you click on database, Right now, I have already connected it with the database, so it's not asking me any option to connect. But for the first time, when you are integrating MySQL with VS Code, it is going to, a pop-up window will be here where you have to fill the connection name. Okay, and now what is that connection name and password, which I'll tell you. So let me open MySQL for that. So you can see here I've opened MySQL Workbench, which was already installed on my laptop. So you make sure that you have MySQL Workbench already installed, already logged in. So you can see here 2 connections are there, local instance MySQL 80, and then Pragya, by my name, I've created a connection. You can create a new connection from here. And then if you click on this, you will be prompted to enter a password, right? So you can keep whatever password you want. Now, here, when I come to Visual Studio, here when you will click for the first time this database part, it is going to ask you to connect this VS Code to the database MySQL connection here. Okay, this one. So to connect, what you have to do, you have to fill few details. As that pop-up window is not displaying here because I have already connected, I'll just tell you what details you have to enter. You have to enter the connection name there and the password. Apart from that, you need not change any field there. Okay, need not alter anything, and just click on connect. So once you click on connect, all the database which you have created in that particular connection on MySQL Workbench will be shown over here. Okay, if you want to create a new database, you can click on this plus icon and create new database. If you want to select any one of the database, suppose I have selected this employees database. Okay, so these are the tables which I already have in my database, right? So I can use any of these. So you can see customers, employees, office, these are the tables. If I want to see what this customer table is all about, you can click on this dot and it will show you. So you can see here employees database, there are few entries here, and then there are these are the columns here. Similarly, you can go to the customers and you can see that as well. It's taking time to load. So once it loads, it can show. So you can see here customer name, customer number, contact, last name, and all these details are there, which has already been created. If you want to create new, you can do that as well. Now, our main motive here is to see how, GitHub Copilot is helping us to run MySQL queries. So for that, you can just go here in the query also. Okay, I've already created these 2 files. That's why it's showing here the name. Or you want to create a new file, you can just press Ctrl-Shift-P, the shortcut. This will be displayed. You can click here, notebook. So you can create or open a notebook. So if you open a notebook, it will create a new notebook if none is created, right? So I've clicked on that. So you can see this notebook is created here. You can write your queries over here as well. Or the another way is that you can click on this query option, and then here you can click on plus icon, right? So this new dialog box will come here. Here you can make or write which database you want to use, right? For example, use or you can just write any name here as well. The query file name, this is basically. Okay, so I can write, okay, start with. So this is just going to create this file. And now here you can write the queries now. So the first query is I have to specify which database I want to use. So I'm going to use here classic models. Okay. Now you can see here automatically it is giving me some suggestion. So this suggestion here you can see is from GitHub Copilot. Okay. But if I want to use, well and good. If I don't want to use, then I can write my own query as well. So suppose I want to select, I'm writing a simple query to select everything from a table. Okay. So select star from, so it's showing me some output, right? But if I don't want to display everything from customers table, I want it from employees table. So if I write just this, it will show me an option, right? Star from employees where last name is something like this. But I don't want that also. I just want this much. Now you can execute it. You can see here the output, right? All the data which is there in the employees table is being demonstrated, right? Similarly, we can write, I'll write some complex query here. For example, let's write a query to join 2 tables. Okay. So if I write select customer name, so you can see here it's showing already customer number, customer name. So I'll click tab, but not select everything. From customers is fine. Where, so I have to join two tables, right? It's not giving me automatically here the suggestion, but if I would have written as a comment that I want to join these and these tables, it would have definitely given me the suggestion. But I want to show you that line by line how on the basis of the prompt or whatever text you have written, GitHub Copilot helps you. So where, if you write here, or let's join the two tables, right? So it is inner join. So I just write inner. So you can see now it is giving me the suggestion, right? Inner joins on customer.customers and orders table automatically it is combining. If I want some other table to combine with, I can write that as well. Okay, let me just now hit enter for this. And you can execute. Okay, so it says that the customer number field is ambiguous, right? So you can see how clear suggestion is there for even the error. It means customer number should be either specified from which table I want it to be displayed, or I can just remove it for time being. Okay, let's execute the query. So you can see it has demonstrated only the customer name. If I would have written customers.customer name, it would have definitely displayed the result. Now, if suppose I want that query for calculating sum of all the orders for each customer, or maybe for, you can write any query here depending upon what is your requirement. So you can see it is, I've just written the simple English statement and it has demonstrated me the result. Select customer name, sum quantities ordered into price of each as total, displaying it as total from customers, inner join order on customers.customer number equals to orders.order number. Again, it's inner joining with order details because the details of order, like the price which we are calculating, is there in order detail table. Now, if you want to execute, you can execute, but you have to delete this line, okay, because it will throw error. So if I execute this, you can see here some name of total is being displayed here. For each customer, what is the quantity ordered, total price for that is being displayed, right? So you can use aggregate functions, you can use inner joins, and without spending much of a time, you are able to run and execute queries. The various complex concepts like subqueries can also be executed with ease. If you want to create complex queries like creating a subquery, that also GitHub Copilot is going to help you with. Okay, I'll give you an example here. Suppose I want to create a subquery. So I'm writing select star from employees where employee number in select. So now you can see it is automatically complete that I want to write a subquery. It automatically understood, right? So the subquery by default it has written is that select reports to from employees where reports to is null, right? Meaning it's something like a self join, or it's referring to I'm trying to fetch all those employees details who is reporting to someone from the employee set only, meaning the reports to is null. Tab and enter, right? And then you can execute it. So you can see it is executing the subquery successfully. So as I said that you need to know the basic concept of any programming language or query language which you are using. And depending upon what you want to write, depending upon the prompts or the text which you have already written, GitHub Copilot is going to suggest you the next line of code or the complete program. We saw the various examples for SQL queries, MySQL queries, and also as a Java program. Now let us see how we can use ChatGPT in Visual Studio Code. And also, I'll tell you something about GitHub Copilot Labs. Okay, so we are here at Visual Studio Code window. Now, here, if I want to use ChatGPT, so till now, maybe you would have used ChatGPT to get some useful information, and the version of ChatGPT which you might have used is 3 or 4. Depending upon if you have a valid subscription of it or not. Now, how can you use the functionality of ChatGPT here in VS Code? So for that, again, you have to install. You just click on the extensions. And then here you have to click GitHub Copilot Chat. Okay. GitHub. You have to write here GitHub Copilot chat. Okay, the very first option, if you see here, you have to install it again. As I've already installed, it's not showing me the option to install it, but if you haven't, you'll be asked to install it first. So install it. Again, you have to authorize this from your GitHub account. So once you have installed, you can go to this notification center and you can see that, it is asking here, a pop-up is there in the notification that you need to authorize this GitHub Copilot chat. And so just have to click on that dialog box, which will appear. It will take you to your GitHub account and ask you to authorize there. So just click on authorize from there, right? Sometimes, like when I tried using GitHub Copilot chat, what happens is that it added me to a queue and it said that they'll get back to me and notify on my email when I'm let in to chat, use this chat feature. Okay, so it took around 24 hours for me that they came back sending an email saying that, you have been allowed to use this feature of GitHub Copilot chat. So that might take time for you as well. That's the reason I've already installed and I'm just demonstrating you over here. So once you do this, installation and all the authorization part, you will see this icon over here. Okay, so this icon, this is the chat option. Okay, you have to click this. Earlier, this option won't be here, but once you have installed GitHub Copilot chat, you can see. So here you can ask anything related to the program. Okay, suppose I want to know why is main method used in Java. So just write your question and hit enter. It is just saying that the GitHub Copilot is thinking, and then it will write down its answer. Right? The main method is used in Java as the entry point for any Java program. It is a method that is executed when the program is run. The main method is where the program starts executing. This is this, and without a main method, a Java program cannot be run. So this is basically why I have asked is main method used, right? You can ask any such question which you don't know. So if you want to know what is collections in Java, you can ask. You can write question related to any programming language. I'm just referring Java here because that's what we have talked about in this course. Okay, so you can see what the collection refers here, what are the different collection classes in Java. All these information is giving. So the ChatGPT feature, you can use it in VS Code using GitHub Copilot chat. Okay, now let me also tell you about GitHub Copilot labs. Okay, so what is GitHub Copilot lab first of all? So GitHub Copilot lab is your laboratory features, meaning if you want to play with your program, play with a piece of a code. For example, you want to test that code or you want to convert that code into some other language, like you have written in Java, you want to convert it into C, or if you are not understanding what this piece of code is, please explain me. So all these kind of laboratory activities, if you want to do on a piece of code, you can do it using GitHub Copilot lab. But that also is a plugin which you have to install. So you have to write here GitHub Copilot lab. Okay, so you can see here GitHub Copilot labs is the first option which is there. You have to click on install again. As I've already installed it, it's asking me to uninstall. So you do click on install, done. This will also ask you to authorize it from the GitHub account. So the same process, you need to authorize it. And once done, this option will be visible here. So before this small bear option was only here at the down taskbar, but now it will be visible over here. So this is about GitHub Copilot lab. So you click on this icon. So you can see here, for any piece of code, you can understand why this is. So for example, suppose I am taking the example for the Java code which we have written. So, okay, I'll take another example which I have already written here. So this is a demo.java file where a program of exception handling is written. So public static void main try A5. If A is less than B, then it is throwing an exception. And then it is handling in catch by just printing a caught keyword. Right? Now, I want to run lab or use the features of GitHub Copilot lab on this code. So you can see here the first option is explain. So if you want to understand certain piece of code which you're not understanding, for example, if I put this try catch statement, select this, okay, and so this is automatically displayed here in the explain below explain tab. The option is here. So you want to explain it, the code, you want what the code does, so you want to some example based on this code already, existing code, you want some examples. So all these can be done here. So if I go to explain code and then you hit on ask Copilot, it is going to, explain you. So you can see below, here's the result, the explanation for the code above. So each and every keyword and line, what is being done will be explained here, right? You can see here, all the explanation is done, what this class demo is doing, and then created in which the exception is thrown. So the correct explanation is given. Now, language translation. So this code is written in Java. Now you want to translate it into some other programming language. Like I want it to translate into Python. And I want to ask Copilot. So you can see here it has, converted into a Python code. Try catch, how is this exception handling done in Python? Correctly it is done, right? You want to convert it into some other programming language. See how many programming languages is there. You can do the same. But make sure you select only for those where it's possible. Like you cannot convert a MySQL query to a Java code, right? So, make sure you are intelligent enough there to decide. And then there are these brushes. You can fix bug, you can debug your code, you can clean or delete certain codes if you want. So all these options are there. Then there is the last option called test generation. So you can see here that test generation is currently supported only for JavaScript and TypeScript, because JavaScript was the language, the very first language on which this, GitHub Copilot was developed. And that's the reason it's only right now supported for this. But maybe in later future, it will come for other programming languages also. Then you can use test generation. So for a given particular piece of code, you can just click on this, suggest a new test, and it will generate a unit test for the given piece of code. So this was all about your GitHub Copilot Lab. So we talk about GitHub Copilot Chat, GitHub Copilot Lab, and a basic GitHub Copilot, how it is helping you to write an intelligent code.
Let's get started by understanding what are AI tools or AI assistants. Why it is given a name of AI assistant? Because they are going to assist us in completing some of the tasks. So there are certain AI tools or AI assistants which will even help you do the work, like scheduling a meeting for you, writing an email for you. So that's the reason they are called as AI assistant. They're going to assist you in completing a task, okay? Or AI tools. Now, AI is for artificial intelligence. So the name itself makes it very, very clear that they uses the concept of artificial intelligence. But what are the concepts that comprises artificial intelligence? So they comprises of the topics like neural network, fuzzy logic, and genetic programming. So these are the broad domains under artificial intelligence. But here, these AI tools are basically into neural networks. The different various basic, intermediate, and advanced concepts of neural networks are used in this AI assistant or AI tools. So what are they used for? They are used for completing a task, providing you information, or providing personalized recommendations. So providing information meaning you can ask or you can interact with these tools to extract any kind of information you're looking for. Okay? Or completing a task, as I mentioned just now, that they'll help you in completing a task like writing an email, writing a report for you, or maybe scheduling a meeting for you. Or even the tools like, Alexa and Siri, you must have heard these very common names. So these are also some kind of an AI assistant tools, right? So these will also help you into doing the task of your home. Like if they are integrated with the IoT devices, Internet of Things devices, they'll help you even to, open and close the curtains of your house. They will help you in switching on and off the lights and fans of your house. So this is the meaning when I say that AI tools or AI assistants help you in completing a task. As I said, they uses the concept of artificial intelligence. Also, the concept of natural language processing is used. Why natural language is required? Because these tools interact with us, the humans, right? And we speak in a language, a natural language, which can be any XYZ language, Hindi, English, French, German, right? So these tools need to understand these human spoken languages, right? And there comes the need of natural language processing. So these two domains together helps in development of AI tools or AI assistants. Okay. Now, why are we using these? So we are using this because it increases the productivity, the convenience, ubiquity, and business intelligence. Now, productivity, because, for example, suppose earlier if a human takes to write a simple email, if suppose a person takes 10 minutes or 5 minutes, the AI tool or AI assistant is going to do it for you in just a minute, right? So hence the productivity will increase. There are certain AI tools using which you can develop a complete software or develop a complete mobile app in just few minutes, which a developer might take years and months to write. Okay, so that's how they increase the productivity. Convenience, because yes, it becomes convenient. Like as I said, the AI tools are integrated into IoT devices and they help you in doing the task of your house. And definitely that is more convenient to you. Ubiquity, because these AI tools or AI assistants are becoming part of the other IoT devices or other cross-platform devices they can be integrated into and is helping you in doing any task. Business intelligence. Now, these AI assistants or AI tools, for example, the Claude, which I'm going to talk about today. For example, you would have heard about ChatGPT. So these are utilizing data which is freely or publicly available, right? In the meanwhile, they are also collecting data from us. The more and more we are going to use those tools, the more and more data that is going to collect. And hence, that data can be used for data analysis and going ahead, business intelligence. So yeah, these are the major reasons why people and industry is focusing more towards AI assistants and AI tools. Now, it is also important for you to understand here that has these AI tools evolved all of a sudden, just a year or two back, or was the seed of it sown long back? So yeah, I'll talk about that right now. So all of these started in 1950. So you can see as old as 1950 when the Turing test was done by Alan Turing. He proposed a test where he checked the machine's ability to behave intelligently or to behave like human, right? So this all concept of AI started, or I can say AI tool started in 1950. Then the research went on, but the research progress was not very fast. It was on a slow pace. In 1950s and 60s, the research which was done was mainly on development of, the rules or set of rules on which you can fit into a computer system and it can then behave in turn, intelligently like human. So that was all about in 1950s and 60s. Key milestones happened when in 1970s and 80s when expert systems were developed. So these expert systems were developed that were, more efficient in behaving, intelligently or like humans compared to the earlier research. But even these had constraints like hardware constraints, that a particular hardware only can be used or can only be programmed in such a way that it can behave intelligently. There were certain set of rules which had to be fed into those computers, even in these expert systems. So yeah, they were utilized in certain domains, although the domains were very narrow that time, like they were used in financial systems, they were used in medical systems, but on a very smaller scale. Major turnout came in 1990 when the concept of machine learning was utilized. So in machine learning is, in layman terms, if I tell what machine learning is, you are making a machine learn something with the help of data, right? Like for a human, we teach a kid, right, to learn a language. Same way, we teach a computer with the help of the data which is already available to behave in a certain way. And once it is trained, the system behaves in that way, right? So that concept started in 1990s for the AI tools. Then the concept of deep learning came. So deep learning in 2000s, somewhere it started. And this was the major, major role player in the development of AI tools. Then going ahead from 2000, you can say the work or the research in these areas were fast and it led to the development of many AI tools on a smaller scale and recently on a very larger scale. Current state, if I talk about AI assistants, then the widely used concept is GAN, which is a generative adversarial network. So in this, the name is generative adversarial network. It means it generates the data on the basis of training data, right? So that is what GAN is. In different way, in different forms, or when I say different way, different forms, different models are developed on the concept of GAN. And then those models are used for training the systems. And with the help of that, different AI tools are being developed. So that's the whole idea behind the development of AI tools. the AI tools are integrated into our daily lives. Even the small tasks like scheduling a meeting in your calendar, notifying you for certain events. So these kind of small tasks are being taken care of AI tools. The examples are Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, ChatGPT, many more such tools. Nowadays, every other day, some new AI tool is being developed on the concept of the AI and machine learning. When I talk about the key characteristics of AI assistants, what are those? The first one is abundant interaction. So these AI tools, we are able to interact with them. Like how you chat between two people or two friends, that's how you interact with these AI tools, right? We use the keywords like please, can you repeat this? I didn't get you. So these kind of statements are used and it's very interactive when you interact with these AI tools. Second is voice recognition or human readable text inputs. So you interact with these AI tools in the language you prefer for, right? For example, the Claude tool, which we are going to discuss right now, supports 19 different languages, right? Including English, Hindi, German, French, and many more, okay? So that's one of the characteristics of AI tools. They even recognize voice. The human tone which we speak can be recognized by this AI tools. For example, Alexa, right? You interact with Alexa with your voice. That's also a kind of AI assistant. Third characteristic is evolving machine learning algorithms. As I already told you that these tools are based on machine learning concepts, and day by day these machine learning models are improving, and hence the underlying tools are also being improved. The last characteristics, if I talk about, and one of the most important one, is that contextual understanding or personalization. So even if you use the tools like ChatGPT, for example, if you are interacting with ChatGPT and you have started the conversation under certain topic, even if you don't mention that topic later on, ChatGPT will understand that, okay, you are talking about this topic or this domain itself. Okay. For example, in Claude, if you interact with Claude and if you're extracting certain information and you have mentioned, suppose as a prompt that, I want information only in 3 lines or in a paragraph. So suppose this, requirement you gave 2-3 times. The 4th time, it will by default give you the information in 2-3 lines only, right? So that's a small example of personalization if I talk about, right? Or it understands the context in which you are trying to interact or extract information, or you're trying to complete a certain task using that AI tool. So these are the major key characteristics of AI assistants. Now, with the benefits, definitely comes the challenges as well. So what are the different challenges or limitations of AI assistant tools? The first one is privacy concerns. As I said, that when you interact with this AI tool, the data which you are sending is also publicly available. You are not aware that the data which you are giving to this AI tools are being utilized by whom, where, and how, right? So definitely the privacy concern is there. Next is the ethical consideration. Okay, one small example I'll give you to understand how, ethically these tools can be wrong sometimes. AI tools is used for interacting, right? For extracting information. So suppose you extracted certain information, it might provide you even wrong information. And if you acted on that wrong information, that can sometimes mislead a human or a person, right? And that becomes ethically wrong. So this is one example. Similarly, there are other ethical considerations that also comes into picture when the AI tools are considered. Dependence on data and connectivity. Definitely, as these AI tools are using internet, they need a proper network connectivity to be utilized. It's not available for users where there is no internet. And they are also dependent on data. These tools are trained on the certain models, right? And those models require the data. And these are the data which is freely publicly available on internet, right? This data might be wrong, might be right? But this is trained on that data itself. So the dependence of these tools are completely on those data which is freely publicly available. The last limitations, if I talk about, is misunderstanding user intent, right? So the AI assistants are not exactly humans, correct? They are tools, they are computers in a way. So you have to interact with that. They might sometimes mislead you when it comes to the user intention, right? As I said, they might give you wrong information, wrong input, or might not understand the context in which you are trying to extract the information. So that can be a challenge for using these AI assistants. So that's all we discussed about what are AI assistants, what are AI tools, what is the technology behind it, how they evolved from year 1950 till date, and then what are the different characteristics with challenges and limitations of AI assistants. Now let's talk about Claude. What is Claude? It's an AI conversational model. Conversational model meaning you can interact, you can communicate with this tool. Meaning you will be sending certain prompt or certain statements. It will respond you on the basis of what statement you have given it, right? So that is the conversational model. AI stands for artificial intelligence. The concept of Claude is based on the models of AI, that is the neural networks and deep learning models of artificial intelligence. Claude is developed by the company named Anthropic. Okay, the people who have formed or developed this Claude are the ex-employees of the company who developed ChatGPT. So the ChatGPT was developed by the companies OpenAI and GitHub and Microsoft, right? So the ex-employees of those companies are the people behind development of Claude, and that's one of the major reasons it is said that Claude can be the biggest competitor for ChatGPT. Although there are certain features which are better than ChatGPT, I'll talk about the difference between the two as well, because ChatGPT is the most talked about AI tool, right, when it comes to the content or when it comes to AI tools, right? And Claude is one of its biggest competitors, so it's important here to talk about the difference between the two. So I'll talk about that in a bit of time. But yeah, that's the reason why this is said as the biggest competitor for ChatGPT. So as I said, Claude is developed by Anthropic, right? The people from the company Anthropic. What are the different capabilities? What Claude can do? It has a natural language understanding. Natural language meaning you can communicate with Claude in your own language. That is English or Hindi or whatever is your language. You can communicate with Claude in that language. Initially, Claude was only available in UK and US, but now it is available in many countries. It supports 19 languages. It helps you in summarization and search, meaning you can perform the tasks like, suppose you have given a big text to Claude, okay? And if you want to summarize it, like suppose you have 20 pages or 30 pages research paper, or if you have a document which contains of like 10 pages of information, you don't have time to read all that 10 pages. You can provide that document to Claude and ask the Claude to provide you the summarization or the output in just few lines out of that big text. So that kind of task you can do with the help of Claude. You can search any information or any data on Claude. Okay. Another capability is you can do creative writing. Meaning if you want to develop a report, right? A final year student, suppose you're a final year student and you want to develop or write a complete report, you can make Claude do that for you. Next is coding. If you are a developer or a programmer, you want to write down a code or a program for any given problem statement, you can make Claude do that for you. Although the capabilities of downloading that script file is not there, or it will not develop or it will not give you the output then and there in the Claude interface, but yeah, it will write down a code for you. You can copy paste that code from there and paste it on your machine depending on which programming language you are using, and then you can run it and make the code execute, right? So it will help you in writing down a code if you are a developer. Next is the pricing plan, which is one important criteria of using Claude. It is freely available. Although there is a pro plan of Claude, okay, the pro plan is because there are certain limitations with the open source or the openly available or freely available Claude version. That is that in an hour, the number of prompts is restricted, okay, and also Claude 2 API, like if you want to use the API of Claude, the second version, then you have to take the pro plan or you have to take the business plan of Claude. Okay, so there it's restricted, but majorly all the tasks which a Claude can do is freely or open source available to you. Okay, so that's one of the important aspects of Claude. The second major aspect is that it supports 75,000 words as prompts, right? So you can see the number of words in a prompt you can provide. So you can provide like 6-7 pages of prompt, right? Which is restricted in other AI tools. If I talk about ChatGPT, there it's restricted, right? So here in Claude, you can provide as long as prompt you can design. Okay, so these are the capabilities of Claude. So I hope you got a basic idea what Claude is. It's a conversational model like ChatGPT itself. You can interact with Claude, sending it certain prompts, sending in certain information, so certain statements, and then getting back the response. It can do these tasks which I just now mentioned. It is developed by the company named Anthropic. Now, what is the benefit of using Claude? So the benefits of using Claude is not very much different than benefits of using any AI tool or AI assistant. It's somewhat the same. The first one is time saving. Definitely Claude is going to save you time with respect to writing any kind of a content or extracting any kind of information from a document, from a book, or from internet. Okay. One of the aspect of Claude is that it can surf the internet for you. Right? Meaning if you want certain information that, okay, what happened in the month of October in year 2021, it will help provide you that. And the best benefit or the biggest aspect of Claude is that it has access to the data till 2023. Okay, even the recent data, like if you want to know what happened in the year 2023 in the month of July or in the month of August or in the month of January, it will fetch that data itself. So the data is up to date here till 2023. Next is improved efficiency. So definitely the work which you are doing that is more efficient if you're doing it using Claude. The example which I gave was like writing an email. Right? I'll also show you how efficient and nice email it writes. You might take a long time even to think in that way and write such a nice email. Okay, that's how it improves the efficiency. Enhanced user experience. So definitely you don't have to always interact with this AI tool or with Claude by physically interacting with the system. Definitely typing or using keyboard to provide prompt is one aspect, but there are other aspects also, like you can use voice control or you can just speak and interact with Claude, right? So that's how it improves or enhances the user experience. Next is data-driven insights. So yeah, Claude will also help you in extracting information that is based on data. Like as I said, what happened in the month of July 2022, if you want to get that information, it will provide you that as well. We'll see these examples, how these benefits are leveraged using Claude when we talk about the hands-on aspect of Claude. Now, to understand the technology behind Claude, as Claude is an AI tool, AI assistant, so definitely the technology behind Claude is same as the technology which is behind any AI tool. That is machine learning, natural language processing, right? So machine learning, as I said, is a concept where you make the machine learn on the basis of the available data. So there is a training data on the basis of which a machine is trained to behave in a certain way. And once it is trained, once it is efficient enough, it is allowed to be used on the fresh data. Natural language processing, as I said, the Claude is an AI assistant tool and it helps you interact in your human language, and hence the natural language processing is required. So natural language processing is a very broad term. So behind that, there can be the concepts of, genetic understanding, contextual understanding, semantic, analysis of the text. So these all are the smaller domains that together comprises or is behind this natural language processing. Okay. So let's also talk about how does Claude differ from other AI tools like ChatGPT. Okay. As I said, it is important to talk here because ChatGPT's biggest competitor is Claude. The key differences I'll talk about here. So ChatGPT is good when it comes to, you can upload the video, audio files as well. You can work on the audio, videos, files as well in ChatGPT. In one of its feature available called as advanced data analysis. But yeah, advanced data analysis is available in ChatGPT only if you take a plus plan. Okay, it's available in version of ChatGPT 4. In Claude, mostly everything is available free, whatever its capabilities, except that the API concept, you can use the API of Claude only in its pro version. Other aspect, ChatGPT has constraint on the length of the prompt. Okay, Claude doesn't have. If you paste a very long prompt in the Claude, chat box, then it is just going to summarize into a text document and give it to Claude tool. But in ChatGPT, you will get an error message saying that this long message or a prompt is not supported. Although that is very long, normally or generally, when we interact with ChatGPT, that long prompts are not required. But yeah, there is the limitation. The limitation in ChatGPT is of 12,000. In Claude, it is 75,000. So that's the difference. The other difference is that the Claude is able to serve the internet for you and get the data and extract the data from internet. But ChatGPT is not able to serve the data, and the data is available only till year 2021 for ChatGPT. And it is trained, the model is trained only till the year 2021. But in Claude, even the recent data till 2023 can be extracted. So these are the certain major differences between ChatGPT and Claude. When it comes to programming or as a developer, if I talk about the difference between the two, then there is not major difference. The only difference is that in ChatGPT Plus plan, you will be able to create a complete software then and there. It provides you the output. It will help you also to refine your code more better in a way. But in Claude, you will not be able to do those tasks. But yeah, it will also write you a code, a program, or develop a complete software for you and provide you the code then and there in any programming language. So that's all about understanding the technology behind Claude and also understanding the difference between the two biggest competitors of AI tool, that is ChatGPT and Claude. Now let's talk about how can we use prompt engineering concepts in Claude. Prompt engineering is a very wide aspect or a very wide domain. There are a lot of things to be understood there, but here I'll only talk about those aspects which will make you write an effective prompt when you're interacting with Claude. So what is prompt basically? In a very simple terms, if I say what is prompt, it's an input that you provide to any AI tool. So the prompt is the input that guides AI responses. Definitely you will provide those prompts, those inputs to AI tool, and it will provide you the response on the basis of what kind of input you have given or what kind of a prompt you have provided, right? So AI tool is not able to understand what is there in your head, right? What you are thinking. It will only understand what you have put it in the form of words or in the form of prompt. So it is very important to write a very good prompt if you want to effectively interact with Claude. Okay. Now, what is the basics of creating a prompt? The first one will be clear and specific language. You have to be very clear in what you are extracting, what you want, and the language should be very specific. No, there should not be any ambiguous terms like, I want the information of some product on smartphones. Not like that. It has to be very specific. You have to define the context and then the expectations, meaning a very clear input and output should be given. Context should be defined. Like suppose if you want to write an email, that email is to be written for an organization, for an NGO, for applying for a job as a student or to a teacher. So what is the context? You have to specify that clearly. And what is your expectations? Like if you want the email to be written, do you want the email to be a formal letter or an informal email? Or you want it to be a very lengthier one specifying every single detail, or you want to be a very crisp and concise email. So what is your expectations has to be clearly specified in the form of prompt to Claude. Ambiguous prompts can lead to unexpected result. So as I said, there should not be ambiguous terms like, I want some information about some smartphones under the range of 20,000. Not like this some, and some, right? There should be specific, like this company's smartphones, I want information with respect to its storage space, the size of it, the camera features of it, this way. Now, if I give you a tip for clarity in your prompts, the first one is specific input and output, right? You should specify clearly what is the input, what is the output you are expecting. You have to use explicit language. Example, suppose you have to ask for a summary of a book. To ask that, you have to specify which book you are referring to, who is the author of that book, okay? You want summary in how many words, how many points, how many pages, right? If you want to summarize the book, suppose in 2 pages, or you want to summarize it in just 1 line, or you want to summarize it in just 10 points, so that should be specified, right? Also, why you need that summary of a book? Are you a student? Are you a teacher? Or are you a developer? Why you want to summarize that book? What's the purpose behind it? That context should be set properly. And you should use the adjectives properly which you want in the form of your output. Like, I want the summary to be concise. I want the summary to be, effective. I want it to include certain keywords. Like, I want certain SEO optimized keywords to be used in that, should be reflected in that summary. So all these points, whatever you want, should be effectively mentioned in the form of prompts. So I hope it is clear that how you can apply the small concept of prompt engineering, which I talked about just now, when you are interacting with Claude. Okay, so once again, what are the tips for effective prompt? The first one is be concise. Now, as I said, you have to mention everything. What is input? What is the context? What is the output? Certain adjectives if you have to add if you want, in your output to have that features for. But at the same time, you have to be concise. You don't have to write like a whole story behind. To be very concise with what you expect from Claude. You have to use correct grammar and syntax. Now, although even if small spelling mistakes are there, the Claude is able to figure out or understand what you're exactly trying to talk about. But yeah, if you're using any syntax and trying to get information from Claude, then make sure the syntax is correct when it comes to programming. Okay. Avoid leading or biased language. Okay. So the biased language should not be used. For example, what are the key features of this product? Right? You're talking about key features. Okay. This product, this is not referring to anything, right? So what product are you exactly talking about should be specified here. In what context you are looking for? Are you looking to buy that product, or you are looking for, teaching someone about that product, or if you are trying to give a review of that product, so that context should be set. Those are the concepts of prompt engineering which you have to keep in mind while interacting with Claude. Now let's get started with the hands-on part of Claude. Okay, meaning I'll be demonstrating you how you can make use of Claude for different set of tasks. Okay, but before that you have to install Claude, or maybe you have to understand how to make use of Claude. So let me tell you here that you don't need to install anything on your laptop or a computer. It's a web-based interface. You just have to log into the account and make use of Claude. So you just have to go on Google and type Claude. You can see the very first link from Anthropic. So this is a symbol of Anthropic, the company behind Claude, who formed the Claude. Okay. So you can click on this link. So you can see here, it took you to a page where it says talk to Claude. You have to enter the email address and continue with email, or you can continue with Google if you have already logged in. You can see here Claude for Business, and then Constitutional AI is another thing. So Claude for Business is mainly for using APIs, Claude 2 APIs, if you want to make use of it. So it is available in the Pro plan of Claude 2, right? Free version is available from here. So you can continue with email here, or you can continue with Google. So I have already logged in, so I will not be using this. Continue with Google, and I'll be using my account here. And yes, it has taken me to my dashboard. Okay, so this is the welcome screen where which you will get once you log into it. But if you are a new user, I'll show you in that case also what should be done. So I'll log out from here. You can enter the email address here. Suppose if I enter email address, okay, so you continue with email. You will get a login code to your email ID. So yeah, the login code was sent to my email ID, which was logged into my phone. So I'll enter that. Okay, so after that you will be getting this page where you have to enter the full name, your name you can write. Okay, so my name I'm writing here, Pragya. You have to agree to this, and you have to be at least 18 years old to make use of this. Then click on continue. You have to also enter your phone number and get verified there. Okay. So yeah, the verification code was sent to my mobile. So you have to enter that, verify the code, and then you're all set to get started. Next, So these are few information that will be given to you. It may display incorrect or harmful information. It is not intended to give professional advice, including legal, financial, and medical advice. Do not rely on Claude without doing your own independent research. So this is what I was talking about, ethical consideration, right? So this is one of the limitation here. Do not make use of Claude for any kind of medical advice or any kind of legal or financial advice, because there are chances that the Claude can give you incorrect result as it is trained on freely available data on internet. Okay, so these are again few things which you have to related to privacy policy and all, which you have to accept. Also, there are certain notifications from Claude here that we may change the users limit, functionality or policies as we learn more about how people use Claude. So there is already users limit here. Per hour you can only use these many prompts. There are like dislike buttons for the responses which are being sent or generated with you using Claude. You can like or dislike them, or you can send them the feedback. So this is there. Then click on finish, and then here you are. Okay. So you can start a new chat here, or all the chats which you will be doing with the Claude will appear over here. Okay. As of now, this is the new account which just now I have created. So there is no history related to prompts or uses of Claude. That's the reason nothing is given. Although try these are given. That's a example, like summarize this PDF document, help me practice my Spanish vocabulary, explain how this Python game works. So yeah, these kind of single line prompts also can be given to Claude, and you can get the response. You can see here, you want to go to Claude Pro feature. You can unlock more with Claude Pro. If you click on that, it will take you to the billing aspects of it. And it will tell you what all benefits it has. So you can level up your Claude users, priority access during high traffic periods, switch between different versions of Claude, early access to new feature. So yeah, Claude earlier version was 1.3, 1.2, and then the 2 version, and then there were certain more versions before that as well. So if you want to switch between the versions, then you can do when you have a pro plan of Claude. If you go to subscribe now, it will take you to the billing aspects of it. So you can see here, Claude Pro is $20 per month plus taxes. So if you are, you feel that you have requirement of it, which majorly the difference is that until unless you are very much making use of Claude for like, in an hour you need a very high interaction with Claude. Lot more prompts have to be given. When I talk about number of prompts has to be given, then you can go to Pro plan. Else if you are having certain limited number of prompts per hour to be given to Claude, then it's okay to be use the free version of Claude itself. And second aspect here, if you want to use the API, Claude 2 API, then you have to take this plan. Else you can go with the free version of Claude itself. Okay, so I'm not going to subscribe it over here. We'll cancel it. Go to our page here. Okay, so you can see here there is an attachment button. Okay, so it says that you can add the content, you can load the files. So maximum 5 files. So multiple selection facility is also there in Claude, which is not there to remember in ChatGPT. Multiple files cannot be selected one by one. You have to select the files. So 5 maximum files you can select. 10 MB each should be the size of the file. It accepts PDF, text, CSV. So you can see all these, document kind of the text or the code documents are can only be uploaded, not the audio or video files. Okay, you have to click here, start a new chat, and get started with Claude. So Claude by Anthropic. This is how you will install Claude and get started. Before going ahead and interacting with Claude, let me tell you what all tasks we are going to do using Claude. So we'll be talking about how to generate a code structure, then summarize a document, create a report format, write an email, do a market research, generate a MOM, and write some software codes in programming languages like Python and Java. So let's go to Claude interface and get started. So the first prompt which I'm going to give to Claude is that I want to generate a course structure for a course or a subject database management system. Okay. And suppose I am a teacher or faculty who is going to teach this subject database management system to the students of BTech second year, and I want to cover this subject in 50 lectures. So all these is my requirement, right? I have to put all these requirements in the form of, as an input or in the form of prompt for Claude. So let's write the prompt. Generate an elaborate course structure for the subject database management system for a student of BTech second year. Okay, this was my requirement. What else is the requirement? Okay, the course structure should cover all the aspects of the subject so that a learner can work efficiently in the real world on database. Okay, this is the main motive, main aim why I am teaching this subject, right, as a instructor. What else? So also I want to complete this course in 50 lectures. So the course should be completed in 50 lectures. Okay. So you can see the prompt here. It has to be very elaborate, at the same time concise and very effective. Okay, so let's give this prompt and see. So you can see that the speed by which the Claude is generating response is not very slow. You don't have to wait much, like in, for example, if you have used Google Bard, there the speed of response generation is very slow. You have to wait for some time. This is equivalent to ChatGPT's paid version, although the free version of ChatGPT is more faster than this. But yeah, so you can see how beautifully it has generated a course structure for the subject database management system. So here it says, here's a proposed structure for this: introduction, 2 lectures, then it is also divided into number of lectures each topic should take to cover, like data modeling, SQL, database design and all. So even the advanced concepts are covered because I have asked that the course should be enough for a person to work in real world on database. So yeah, it has taken all the advanced concepts into consideration. Also the programming aspect of database, like how you can connect to these and all, is also important when you're working in real world, right? So all that is there, query processing and optimization. So yeah, Claude has clearly understood the context which I have set up for it and has given me the response accordingly, right? So this is how you can generate the responses. The first example we saw. So the next one which we are going to see is that we are going to summarize a document. So for that, I'll be uploading a research article just downloaded from internet, which was freely available. The research document is on digital image processing. So I'll just upload that here. The size constraint is there that 10 MB it should be, right? And it should not be more than 10 MB. So yeah, this is the paper. Okay, I'm not giving any prompt or any input. Let's see what Claude does to this. Okay. So you can see here is an edited and formatted version of the research paper. This is a research on digital image processing technology and its applications by this person. Okay. Okay, it is providing me the complete details of the paper, right? Okay, let it do its task. Till then, I'm writing the next prompt that I want to summarize this document. Okay, so we can use the polite words, right? It is more interactive in that way if you use certain polite words like please, kindly and all that. So I'll use please provide summary for the document uploaded above in just 10 points. In just 10 points. Okay, so this is what it has done. It has read out the complete paper, but not completely, but in a concise way or in a summary way is what it has read, right? Picking few aspects under each subheadings, I feel. Okay, so what I want is provide a summary for the document. So document uploaded above in just 10 points. Okay. Let's see what response is being generated. So yeah, here's a 10-point summary of the research paper which was uploaded. So this can be any document. Just I have taken an example, randomly picked any research paper. So you can see 10 points it has given, which is covering everything which is there in the paper. Yeah. If you want to summarize the document in just a line, in just one line, So you can see in a single line also, it can summarize that huge 7 to 8 pages of a PDF or a document. Okay, so this is what is its summary or the output. Right, so this is how you can summarize any document. Next, let's see the MOM can be generated or not. So for that, I have a meeting transcript. I'll upload that meeting transcript here. Okay, and then we can say here that, can you please generate a MOM for the attached meeting transcript. Writing MOM is a task, right? Whenever there's a meeting, the people who are working might relate to this. So if you have a meeting transcript, a roughly written document, or a meeting transcript as a whole, you can give that to Claude and ask it to create an MOM for it. So you can see the date, time, location, a proper format has been followed for creating an MOM. Who are the attendees, and then what's the agenda, and then what are the key discussion points, and what should be the action items. Right? This is how a proper format of MOM should be, right? And that's what it has followed. So we saw a few of the aspects how we can interact with Claude. We'll explore some more benefits of Claude and some more prompts how Claude responds to that. Okay, now let's see some more ways how you can interact with Claude. So we have seen 3 or 4 aspects, right? Now we'll talk about how we can make use of Claude for writing an email for us. Okay, so the context is that I have to write a email for applying for a sick leave, okay, for 2 days, and you have to also tell Claude that you're working as a maybe developer in a XYZ company, or maybe in any IT company, and I want to apply for sick leave for 2 days because I'm down with cold and cough. Okay, so let's give this prompt and see how good email is written by Claude. Okay, all the inputs is given. Fine, let's see how it generates an email. So yeah, you can see how effective and an efficient email for sick leave application was written by Claude. To write this effective email, you might need at least 5 minutes, but this did it in less than a minute, right? So yeah, the subject, dear, the manager name, and that I'm writing to inform you that I'm on sick leave this from date this to this date. I've been suffering from cold and cough, condition has worsened, and also see how nicely it has framed the situation, medical situation. I plan to use this time to rest properly so that I can recover, and I'll respond back. So yeah, even the nice finishing lines for an email is given. Okay, so please let me know if you need any additional information about this leave application. I apologize for the short notice and inconvenience. Okay, so regards and your name. So this is a very effective and efficient email, right, written by Claude. So as I have already mentioned that if you want to write, if you are working with content writing and also for creative writing, you can use Claude. So if you want to generate a report format, okay, for example, can you please provide me a report format? The report is for the final year project of an engineering college. Okay, so you want a report format for writing your final year project of an engineering college. Okay, so this is the prompt which you have written. Although the prompt is very small, you can elaborate it again according to your requirements more. So let's see with this prompt, is Claude able to generate a format for me or not? So yes, you can see there should be a title page with these names, right? It's correct. Title of this is how we prepare, correct? Student name, enrollment number. The example this I took because most of you will be able to relate to it, right? Most of you would have prepared the report for your final year project, or those who are still in the BTech might prepare, right? So there should be certificate, then the acknowledgements, then abstract, table of content, list of figures, list of tables, literature review. So you can see even pointers like the subsystems. Under system design and implementation, what all should come under result and analysis, future work, references, appendices, all that is included. So this is the perfect report format generated. Similarly, you can generate a report format for any kind of a report which you are looking for to prepare. Either it's a financial report, medical report, or SRS document when it comes to software development, or what should be the format of a design document if you at all you want. So all these report formats can be generated using Claude. Okay, so now let's see the last prompt which you're going to give to Claude, that is for doing a market research. Okay, so we'll be doing a market research on a product iPhone 15, and we'll also try to find out what is the current usage pattern of it. Okay, so I'll give a prompt. Can you do a market research on the product iPhone 15? Okay, also give me the latest uses pattern for iPhone 15. So this is how you can see the response has been generated by Claude. Okay, so it has given me the market research, like even the recent data is collected and given in the response. Okay, so key markets like this, the worldwide, what is the market aspects, as I have not mentioned that I want the market research only in specified country, India or anywhere. That's the reason it has given me worldwide. And also users pattern I have asked, right? So you can see the weather and map apps users has spiked. So all these information, gaming adoption rising as the A16 Bionic enables immersive graphics and experiences. So all that has been considered in the latest iPhone model, that is iPhone 15. Also, it has summarized that strong performance aided by aspirational brand image and key feature additions like satellite connectivity is the advantage, although pricing and competition remains the disadvantage. So this is how Claude generates the responses based on what prompt you have given. Now lastly, let's see how Claude generates a software code for you. So if I want that, can you write a Python program for a tic-tac-toe game? Program for a tic-tac-toe game. So it is going to write you a program, okay, but it will not provide you any downloadable link or anything of that sort, which was available in ChatGPT, right, 4 version. But it will write you a correct code. And if you will give the same prompt in other AI tools, it will also, like other AI tools, when I meant it is ChatGPT, it will generate almost the same code, meaning that Claude also generates the most optimized code for you. But it might be that sometimes it doesn't. In that case, you can further give it a prompt to optimize the code. So you can make the conversation interactive. As here, I have not made it interactive, except for the case of when we uploaded a PDF document where we summarized it first in 10 points, then in 1 point, and so on. But if you want certain additions and certain things to be removed in the response which has been generated by Claude, you can do it that as well. It is a chat feature. You can interact with Claude like how you interact with any other human. Okay, so you can see this has generated a program for a tic-tac-toe game. Okay, still generating. So here is the 2-player game. Okay, one is you and one is, it is assuming to be a computer. So you can just copy the code from here and see if it runs or not. Okay, so you can copy it from here and you can paste it in the IDE or like this is the Python game, right? So Python code, so you can paste it in any Python IDE and make use of it or execute it. Similarly, if you want some program to be written in Java programming language, you can give it a prompt accordingly as well. So this is how we talked about how we can interact with Claude by understanding how we can give prompt for different aspects like generating a code structure, summarizing a document for a report, market research, generating an MOM, and also writing a software code in Python. Now let's talk about Claude 2 API. So Claude 2 API is available only for business users, and it's not freely available. You have to take the pricing plan or the pro plan of Claude 2, and then only you can leverage the feature of Claude 2 API. Although I'm going to talk about here the steps which is required, what you have to follow, how you can write a program and make use of the API for your own use. Okay. So Claude 2 API is being offered to business customers at a pricing plan, as I already told you. You can use it through Web API as well as Python and TypeScript clients. Fine. I'll demonstrate you a program here, how you can write it and leverage the benefit of Claude 2 API for Python. But before that, if you are not a business customer of Claude 2, you can also make use of it, but only selected customers are given the benefit of it. Okay. So this is the link here which is provided, right? If you click on this, so once you click on that, you will be reached on this web URL, that is www.anthropic.com early access. So Claude API access. Thank you for your interest in Anthropic's language model. Our API is currently being offered to a limited set of users. We hope to expand access in the future. For that, you have to fill out the form here, which is mentioned below. Okay. But the form, the email which you are filling here should be your company or organization email address. Okay. Fill the details, submit the form. Okay. Once you submit it, on the email ID which you have mentioned, they will provide you the link to access the Claude API. Okay. And that will be an access to the console. Okay. So once you click on that link, which will be sent to your email, you will be having access to the console of Claude. Okay. And there you can make use of the benefits of Claude API. Although when I applied here, this has been like a month. I have not got the response back from Claude. Maybe the number of users whom the access has to be provided is already filled, or I have no idea what's the reason behind this. But yeah, the access is not yet granted. But yeah, if you are in immediate need of Claude 2 API benefits, then you can take the pricing plan of business customer and then you can make use of it directly. Okay. So once this is done, as I said, you will get an email. You have to click on that link and go to the Claude API console. After that, what steps have to be followed? Let's understand that. So once you have reached to the Claude API console, you have to generate the API key. That you can do it by going to settings. I'm not able to show you the hands-on here, but the steps I'll make you very clear so that if you are a business customer, you can make use of it. Okay. So going to the settings, the user settings, you can generate the API key from there. Okay, that API key is what you're going to use it in your program later on. Okay, so make sure you to generate this API key. Then you can write the program. The program which you're going to write will have these 5 steps. The first is you have to import all the required modules. Okay, the modules so you can see here, this is the code. Okay, I'll be talking about the steps and also explaining you the code side by side. So you have to import all the required modules like Anthropic. From Anthropic, you have to import Anthropic, human underscore prompt, AI underscore prompt. Okay, this is for understanding human prompts and this is for generating AI response. Okay, so these are the modules which you have to import. You have to also import OS module. After importing all the required modules, you have to initialize the client using the API key. Okay, so you have to create an Anthropic client. Okay, that client is what you have to use, or you can say it's a kind of an object or a variable which you will be using in the entire program to generate the response. Okay, so you have to initialize that client using the API key. Make sure you have generated the API key because that is what is being used over here. Let's see in the program. So here you can see in this line of code, this step, you have to generate, you have to use the generated API key, and that is the key here. Okay, this is double quotes. I have written Anthropic underscore API underscore key, right? You don't have to write this here, but you have to write the key which will be generated once you have been given the access of Claude 2 API. Okay, once you have generated by going into the settings, the API key, that API key has to be used over here. And then you have to create this client. So this is the variable. I can give any name to this. I've given a underscore client equals to Anthropic. This is the name of the class, you can say, or the module name. And inside this, API underscore key equals to OS module dot environment. It's not environment or anything. The spelling is this only, ENVIRON. Okay. and in the square brackets, you have to provide the key. So this is how you will create a Anthropic client. The next step is that you have to now generate a response by providing a model name, maximum tokens, and prompt. So you have to also specify what is the maximum token. Token is also something which you provide input, like in the prompts, okay? And what's the model name? So all that is what you have to provide information in the next step. So in the program, if we see, you can see here. So C1, this is a variable or object. Anthropic.completions.create, and in the in the round bracket, you have to provide the model name, the maximum tokens, and the prompt. So model is Claude 2. This is fixed, okay? You cannot change that. The model will always be Claude-2. Maximum tokens you can change, give it whatever you want. So 300 is what I have given the value here. Now the prompt. Make sure these keywords are the same, model, maximum, underscore tokens, and prompt. Okay, these are not to be changed. Prompt should be provided here. Human prompt, and then write the prompt which you have to provide as an input to get the response from the Claude. Okay, and then write AI prompt here. So this is the actual statement or input prompt. I have written here how to write an email using Gmail account. Okay, this is a one-line single prompt I have given. Although this prompt is not very good or very effective, but just for an example, I have put it over here. Okay, and then you have to print whatever is the response you will get. So print completion.ci. Ci is this object which I am referring. That was the last step. So you have to print the response. Before that, your prompt usually has human prompt and AI prompt, right? We saw in the code right now, correct? Human prompt and AI prompt, right? And then lastly, you have to print the response. So these are the steps which you have to follow when you are making use of Claude 2 API in Python. Okay, and this is the program. Program is very small, very effective. Just few lines of code and you will be able to use Claude 2 API in Python. So I have not demonstrated you the exact hands-on session there because as I said, the early access request has not yet been fulfilled by Anthropic to me. But yeah, if it does for you, you can write the same program there and check how you can use the benefits of Claude 2 API.
We will see how Google Gemini 1.5 Pro stacks up against the giants like GPT-4o and 4o mini. Get ready for a roller coaster ride of learning and fun. Now, let's understand comparison of Gemini 1.5 Pro with another giant, that is OpenGPT 4o and 4o mini. That's the latest version. Let's have some feature comparison before we go execute few prompts. Here, we have certain features, that is performance, integration, customization, multimodal capabilities, and resource utilization, security features, and use cases. Across all these features, we will compare all the three models, that is Google Gemini 1.5 Pro, GPT-4o, and GPT-4o mini, right? When it comes to performance, Google Gemini 1.5 Pro is high and it's in pro level with extensive customization. We can customize accordingly. But when it comes to GPT-4o, it is optimized performance and also it has reduced the resource use. When it comes to the mini, it is always lightweight and optimized to minimal resource use. They are focusing on minimal resource usages, right? So, but in Google Gemini, it is having a extensive customization capability when it comes to performance. Then comes integration. Here, we have deep integration with only Google services, actually. When whatever it is present in Google Cloud, you have integration very well. As we saw how it integrates the Python collab in Google Cloud, right? With the help of Gemini as well, integration of the API. So how it is integrating to the products of Google on the cloud services, we just had a broad idea. Then comes to GPT, it is having integration with OpenAI APIs, both of it, because this is 4o and 4o mini. Next comes customization. When it comes to Gemini, it is having advanced options in order to fulfill the enterprise needs. But when it comes to GPT, it is having a fine-tuning nature and also API parameters is considered. When it comes to mini, it is having a limited customization. Next, multimodal capabilities. How many models you can integrate. how you can work. How is that capability? When it comes to Gemini, it is for text, image, video and audio integration. But when it comes to GPT, you can integrate text and images. When it comes to Mini, it is primarily text limited to multimodal support. It is not that supportive for multimodal capabilities. Then comes resource utilization. It is having a higher and extensive resource utilization in Gemini, but it is lower consumption in GPT-4 and minimal resource consumption in Mini. That is the main motto of Mini, that we have to give a minimal resource consumption capability. Then comes security feature, which is very important. Enhanced enterprise grade security, which is available in Gemini. And standard security is available in GPT-4. Basic security measures is addressed in Mini. That is the difference you have. It is just having a descending effect in few features and ascending effects in few features. If you could try to compare by yourself reading this particular content on your screen. Next comes use cases. What are the use cases we have? First thing, when it comes to Gemini, we have enterprise applications, customer support aspects and content creation aspects as well. But in GPT, you have resource constrained environments and chatbots. You have to note that few of the resources are constrained. You cannot access more than that. When it comes to Mini, it is small scale applications and it is very lightweight chatbots which can be run in your mobile alone or tabs alone, a small device compared to a large laptop or computer screen, right? So this is the basic difference across few of the major features of the models, that is having a good way of representation, be it in Gemini 1.5 Pro or GPT-4o or GPT-4o Mini. Hope this session was helpful. Thank you. Happy learning.